Morning, everyone. It's going to be a good day. We are excited broadcasting here from Abundant Life, broadcasting live from Lamar, Texas. What's up, Curt? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. It's 99.5 FM KHEA radio. We're also broadcasting live on channel 46.2 in Houston. Can't wait to be a part of everything.
And we're getting a phone call. I wonder who this could be.
Do you want me to go take it?
Might as well. It could be very important. So if you're joining us on Facebook, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for taking the time. We are going to be having a very busy day. We have actually quite a few guests that are coming in, and then we're going to be shooting some Shine on Lamarks, out in the community. This is going to be a good day, but I want to hear from you. I want to know what you have going on, what kind of cool stuff you got that you're going to be getting into today. Shout out to a lot of our partners that are making some cool stuff happen, and one of ours is Texas Pit Stop, keeping my drink cold again today. And thanks to Kelly Williams, because she went and bought us quite a few energy drinks, and I am forever thankful. For that. But again, hey, good morning to you. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you for hanging out with us. Is all good, Curt?
Yeah, it was our favorite cook-off judge.
Oh,
Miss
awesome.
Denise King asking if we were going to go to the Old Smoky cook-off taking place this weekend.
There is an event taking place, I think, on Saturday, because she had called us asking about, the VFW Hall in Dickinson. They're doing some fundraising for some events, and I believe there's like a Facebook event, and we'll maybe be able to share that out today. So it's all good, man. Hey, Curt, so I think you may be mad at me a little bit, right?
A little?
Yeah, okay. Maybe you're furious at me. Is that what's going on?
Okay, yes, a little bit.
So you walked in here.
Yes.
And you tried taking my drink from me. I already shared that Kelly Williams had got some drinks, and I was like, okay, I really wanted to drink this one. And then you mentioned that you're not allowed to drink red dye, because where did you hear that information from?
I know that information because every time that I do, even in my adult life, I have thrown up. So I'm allergic to it.
Man,
and you know that.
I don't know that. I mean, I've heard you say it before, but I thought that was only whenever you were maybe like 5 or something. I've never seen that happen to an adult. Like, usually that's something they grow out of, or it's like, you can't have red dye because, little Curt, he starts to act really hyper and then he gets in trouble. So your parents tell you you're allergic to red dye. That's kind of the thing that I've seen. Every time they have something red, little Curtsy goes crazy, No,
it's not about going crazy. It's about what it does to the stomach.
So what's wrong with the other color dyes?
I don't know.
They're like perfectly fine, and it's just the red color dye is like that's crossing the line.
No, it's fine. I'm okay. We can move on from it. We'll get over it.
I'm just really concerned. I'm just upset. And if we can figure out and get to the bottom of this red dye issue, red dye, does it affect you? I don't know, but we have a fun show coming up.
I agree with Sherry. Red dye is terrible for you anyway.
What about blue dye and green dye? Are those good for you? Like, if it's green, and it's the color of vegetables, then maybe they actually take like spinach and they wring it out, and that's how they get green dye. Like Ecto Cooler. Does anybody remember that? The High C?
I remember the orange crust. Well, High C used to be at McDonald's.
Yeah, High C is delicious.
They don't have it at McDonald's anymore.
Well, not the green one. They had the orange. The orange High C. I know.
But they don't have it anymore at McDonald's.
Trust
they got
me,
rid
I
of
know.
the biggest thing that they were making money on. Well, they probably weren't making any money off of anything there.
If you're getting rid of it, then there's probably a reason. There's probably some deals happening.
The one thing that I remember when I worked, because I worked at McDonald's for like a month, right? And the one thing they said, they're like, hey, you can have as much Coca-Cola as you want. And I was like, why just Coca-Cola? Like, I couldn't do like Dr. Pepper or Sprite or anything else, because McDonald's and Coca-Cola have a deal where McDonald's doesn't pay for Coca-Cola, like the Coca-Cola product. Mm-hmm. So you can, when you work there, at least when we were there, you could drink as much Coca-Cola as you wanted.
That makes sense.
It's crazy.
Well, you think of McDonald's, big brand. You think of Coca-Cola, big brand as well. Why not team up together? And whenever you think of McDonald's, they probably want you to think of Coke. It always tripped me out, like especially like the prices of like fountain sodas, because it'll be like McDonald's all summer long. Everything's $1, depending on if you want the little baby size or you want like the really massive super size me size. And I guess a lot of people drink Coke and they know that. So
Yeah,
but it's still $1.
They don't have to pay for it. Yeah, so they basically make all their money from that. The one thing that was really intriguing for me, I went from a town in Lexington, where grew up my entire life, and you know this because you've met my mom. She loves Diet Coke, right? So she's drinking Diet Coke like crazy.
I think Diet Coke loves her back.
Right.
As well.
Like insane. I've never seen anybody drink so much Diet Coke in my life. So like Coke was like a big deal to me. The town that I went to in college had a Pepsi like manufacturing place in there. So the entire city was like funded by Pepsi. And so it was a weird shift to me for going from like a Coke family to a city that had a whole bunch of Pepsi.
I saw you offer your mom water one time, and I thought she was going to slap the mess out of you. She was like, Curt, I'm thirsty. And I was like, man, this is Curt. Like Curt version 2, I guess the original. Oh, man, on the red dot again. Here we go. There's 8 seconds left, and we're going to go on the FM right now. If you're watching on Facebook, share this out.
Abundant Life Christian School.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're excited. We have an awesome show lined up today. My name's Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
So our first guest today is going to be one that will be for the books. It's going to be something I remember forever. We have Ron Carter, League City coming in, but it's not like we just have them coming in. This has been almost a year in the making of us, like stopping in, trying to get you a new car. There's a weird story.
When did Coco Crepes and Manish kind of come into our lives?
I'm going to say probably like within the next like 2 months. It will be a year, like in the next 2 months or so.
It would have been like September or so-ish.
Yeah, because we went to the ribbon cutting. It was awesome. It was Pizza Fire whenever we first went, and then it was like, hey, we're rebranding. I actually saw an old post. It was like or a memory or something about Pizza Fire. So we went to that location, and I don't want to tell too much of this story. Maybe we'll share it for them if they want to talk about it and are willing to joke with us about it. But there's a program where if you're
just hitting on like every little thing today, like that wants to like dive at like Kurt's anger issues.
Hey, I think your anger issues are rooted deeper.
It's like
in
red
other
dye,
things than me.
Insulting my 2010
I'm not
Jeep
insulting
Compass.
Okay, we won't touch on it. Ron Carter's coming in, and that's the whole thing.
It's
how
like,
the story
let's
happened.
see if we can just bring up everything that makes Curt mad, like his Jeep Compass getting tagged.
Man,
I'm just saying.
Dude, you're on one today, huh?
A little bit.
What happened? Is everything
I walked
okay?
in and I can't even drink my Bang, and I would have gotten a Bang if I would have known. Will somebody
Curt,
please bring me a Bang energy drink?
Is everything okay at home? Is there something you need to talk about? Are you sad because school's starting?
Probably because the kids are going back to school. That's where the root of my anger comes.
Man, well, I'm praying for you. Not right now. And I haven't prayed for you yet today, but I will. I'm going to make a note, and I'm going to try and remember to pray for you because hopefully we can get rid of that. I want it to be a good day. We have a busy day today, and I can't spend too much time with you, let alone the next two hours, if it's going to be like this.
I'm
going to have to hang out with Eldridge.
Ron Carter League City's coming in, and we're gonna have to bring this up, and it's gonna bring back a lot of bad memories. Let's go. I guess I'm ready. As long as they bring a Hellcat and they give it to me for free because they said that they were gonna bring some paperwork, I'm okay.
Yeah. I think that paperwork's going to be like, sign here, you're agreeing to purchase. That's usually the paperwork that they offer.
Wait, I thought she was bringing the paperwork to sign over like the title and deed.
Maybe.
Because she's not going to ask me about my financial information on air with us, right?
They already have all that. As you've went through the process. You got your credit checked, and you were like about to sign some papers for a car.
They probably brought it up, and they're like, well, can he afford this? Maybe in a year he's growing in financial stability.
Here's the thing. Like, you can get approved for something, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can afford it.
Right.
Right, yeah, because numbers on paper can be like, yeah, oh, sure, you got approved for a $2,000 a month car. You're buying a $100,000 car or something, right? But does that mean you can afford it? You can get approved for it, but you still got to pay for it.
When you put in your salary to be like, how did they verify that?
I don't know.
Have you seen
the
that,
honor
though?
issue? Yeah, I know.
Because you can like literally go in and type in any number that you want. This is what I take in yearly, and there's no like way to check that at all. So sometimes I have put like $250 $1,000 in a year.
No, you have not.
I have. And I really wanted this one card.
What? A card or a car?
Card.
What card did you want?
Credit card.
Why did you really want the credit card?
Because I needed some extra room at the end of my budget. And so I was like, I'll just tell them I make $250,000 a year. Didn't really work out. They still found a way to deny me, but
so you got denied. Was it like a special card? Was it like one of those the black?
It
card?
was like the MasterCard, black, platinum. Like all of the celebrities carry it around. I thought maybe I could be one, but nope.
How long ago was this?
A year ago? Maybe. At some point when I think after we hit 1,000 likes on Facebook, I was like, I'm a celebrity now.
Oh,
that
man.
was the second time that was when we went to go get. I went to go get a car after we hit 1,000 likes. I walked in and I was like, I need a new car. And I remember they you can't afford the new car. You can't afford a pickup truck. You can't. It wasn't Ron Carter. And yeah, he was he literally had a sit down session with me so were you just trying to get this because you got 1,000 likes? Are you okay? Does that make
So when you walked in, I want to know. I want to know how that conversation started. Be like, yeah, I'm Curt Casper. I got 1,000 likes on Facebook. How does he even know any of that? At the end, where he's like, dude.
Because I told him. I straight up walked in with glasses and a suit coat. I had my strut. I was strutting. I'm I'm going to get a pickup truck today.
Man.
And I'm going to get it for $300 a month. And then the dude's like, dude, it's going to be $800 a month. That's a dumb deal. You don't want to do that. And then he's like, so, were you on high because you got 1,000 likes on Facebook? Maybe we need to bring reality back a little bit. You can't afford. And I was like, dang, just break down and cry about everything.
But that's I feel like a salesperson, whether you're buying a car, buying a house, whether you're buying a T-shirt, them being honest with you is better than them being yeah, you can afford that. We were talking real estate yesterday, right?
Right.
And that's one of the things we were mentioning, how important is it to be upfront with your customers to say, hey, this is a good fit for you. Maybe this isn't a good fit for you yet. But if you want something now, we can get you in this. We can get you in this brand new T-shirt. It's a Hellcat T-shirt, and it may fit you a little bit better.
I hope they bring the
at your price point. They're here.
I know. I wonder if the Hellcat is out there. We're going to be talking a lot about the Hellcat. And somebody said, you're a Christian radio station. You shouldn't be talking about a Hellcat.
Who said that?
It's on one of the posts from Ron Carter.
Oh, that's awesome. It's the name of a car. It's the name of a car. So there's that. Hey, so I went to Arizona State University, and the mascot is the Sun Devils. And I had somebody come up to me and say, how could you go to Arizona State University and get a master's degree whenever they have a mascot that's the Sun Devils? And I said, yeah, I was like, it didn't even cross my mind. It's not something that really I had a conviction about, and I think Sparky looks cool, so go Arizona State Sun Devils. They have yeah, I was going to go through their slogans, but I'm not. Anyways, we got about 5 minutes. We're going to take a break, and then we're bringing in Ron Carter, Leak City. I'm very excited about it. We're going to be learning everything that they have going on. What does the end of summer mean for selling cars? I don't know. Is there a good time to sell, a bad time to sell, or buy a car? And what does it look like if you were to trade in the bad boy?
It would be awesome.
Well, for them, because then they have a beautiful car in their hands that they can easily take, and there will probably be a line of people willing to pay a lot more than it's worth. Right?
Yeah. Nah. We need to get more. I saw we did a new spot on the TV for Legacy Collision. So if you tune in to 46.2, if you're watching on channel 46.2, you can actually see the Legacy Collision commercial. And inside of that commercial, you see the bad boy, which is getting its bumper redone. And yeah, so I think if it had more play, almost like the
it needs more publicity.
What was that one from Smokey and the Bandit? That Chevy. That Camaro.
Sure, there's the Batmobile. You're thinking of iconic cars.
Dukes and Hazzard, is that the one with the orange 3?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I can't remember what they call it, but yeah,
No.
there's like Dukes of Hazzard. There's the Batmobile. I'm thinking about the car from Ghostbusters, Back to the Future.
What's
the
the one that
DeLorean.
talks?
Kurt's car.
The one that talks. The
Your car
Ghost
talks.
Rider, is that right?
Kurt,
I don't
know.
remember. But it would if it had that kind of quality, it'd be great.
Yeah, so we're open to ideas. What can we do to boost the current value of Kurt's car? It does have AC. I feel like that's a plus. The AC is working. It's in like fully working condition, so you turn it on and it actually starts. That's important because it hasn't always been that way.
No, it's so nice to be able. Here's the funniest part: is it's so cold in this building that I don't even get like when I get out of work here.
Yeah,
I don't put my AC on until at least I get to my house, and then I turn the AC on.
I mean, it is cold in this building, and I'm thankful that it is because I've had the opportunity to work outside and
Oh yeah,
an outside job, and I'm very thankful to have an opportunity to be inside where I'm cold. During my lunch break, sometimes I go outside and I've been eating lunch. Like I ate on the stairs over by the school the other day, and then I ate in my car the other day. Just like walked around. There used to be a little picnic table out there, but they removed it.
we need to get that back.
Well, because it's nice to go out there and thaw out. But I am thankful. I understand that, man, there's a lot of people. Like there's so many hardworking people in our community that, that are out there busting their tail every day, working outside or working in the refineries. And I always think about them whenever it's like extreme temperatures, hot or cold, because, man, they're going out there to either provide for their family, to work their way up. I'm not sure what they have going on, but, man, those are like the people who are out there doing whatever it takes, even though it's not fun and all kinds of conditions, are the real like MVPs, supporting their families and providing a good family life and income.
I have noticed that in Texas, you don't see a lot of construction happening during the middle of the day.
Yeah, they do it at night, and that's for a couple reasons.
It's hot.
It's very hot, and then also it's busy. Like in the morning, can you imagine like rush hour? They're like, and we're going to shut down 45 just because we need to work on it, and I don't want to work at night. But, yeah, they always do that stuff at night.
I did see Alan Hutchins from A&A Machine and Fabrication. He was like, can we just like work on one thing at a time? Like, why are we working on like 8 different projects? Can you imagine how much quicker things would get done if that construction company that was doing like 146 like would just finish 45 too, or the people who did the 646 would just do everything?
Yeah, so the way that works, if I understand correctly, I think it's Williams Brothers. There's contractors, right?
Right. You have to contract and need to do it, yeah.
Yeah, so you get the contract, you bid, you get it, and then so these people have different like crew leaders, so they probably have different crews going out, and it's all different. They just have to monitor and check, and that's a big safety thing. And people just work at different speeds. Our interns, they work at different speeds. Me and you, we work at different speeds. And there's different things that you are better at that I'm, and vice versa, right? So I'm sure it's the same way for crews and construction. It's hard, and no two jobs are the same. Even if it's the exact same, like, hey, the intersections will look the exact same. You run into different stuff due to utilities and everything else. But that would be nice if they worked on one piece at a time. But hopefully, with multiple crews, they finish it quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works.
I always get distracted when I'm working on projects. I don't know if I could get distracted like out in the field, but I get distracted. Like yesterday, I'll tell you this really fast, and I know we got to get going to Ron Carter, League City, which we're super excited to be talking about. Yesterday, and I saw a bunch of our friends, like Alana, posted this article. And did you see it by chance?
Which one? I don't know.
Alana Brown. She posted an article about 2012, and it was a gentleman on Twitter who was just like, I did my own research and blah blah blah, and the world ended in 2012, and like had a whole bunch of facts. And I got intrigued, and I was like, I just kept clicking and reading and clicking and reading, and I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing to back it up. Right? Like no like solid evidence, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But there was like, and then they're like, and people, we often see things different, and there's different like ways that we view things because the Statue of Liberty used to be on Ellis Island versus where it is now. And here was like some artist renderings to show it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so my mind just started to race. And then soon enough, I was like, is time travel possible? And I'm like, wait, I need to be editing something,
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock and you're still at work, and you're like, why don't we get anything done?
Because
but Ellis Island.
I know now so much about time travel, like the fact that apparently apparently a physicist in Montana State said that it's possible to travel into the future based on the fact that like time, like the closer you get to the speed of light, like slows down. So you could literally put somebody in a spaceship, get them close to the speed of light and move them at the speed of light, and they could be gone for 60,000 years and come back to Earth and only aged 40. And I'm like, what? So, yeah, they don't have those on construction sites, but that's why I slow down on what I do.
Well, it's 9 o'clock.
I deserve a Hellcat.
And this is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. You can stream us at KHEAradio.com. You can watch us on channel 46.2. You can also download the KHEA Radio app, and this is the most important one of them all. Download the KHEA Radio app, and you can stream us from anywhere in the world. You know, we're working on a couple things, and we're going to make it to where you can see this video that you're watching right now from the app. So we're a couple of I guess, like research decisions away from being able to make that happen, but we're excited to be able to offer that. We're going to take a quick break. Whenever we come back, we are going to have Ron Carter, Leak City, in studio.
Woo-woo.
But we're keeping it going right here on Channel 46. We're keeping it going right here on Facebook. Again, feel free to ask some questions. Ron Carter, Leak City is right there off of 45. Whenever I go up and down 45 and I pass them, I always see all of, like, the line of Jeeps, like the Wranglers, and they look so cool. There's like this green one. Or is it blue? It's like it's electric. I'm pretty sure it's like electric blue, and man, it shines so good. And whenever I pass by and the sun hits, like in the morning, like on the way to work, and it sticks out. And that's not even like like a color that I'd be drawn to, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's a cool car. So whenever y'all are driving south on I-45, like for me, I'm going under the 646 overpass, and then I'm on the feeder trying to get on 45. Just look to the right. You pass Amoco Federal Credit Union, look to the right, and you'll see that electric blue Jeep Wrangler that I'm talking about, and then come back and comment on KHEA's page or just send us a message and be like, hey, dude, I saw that blue Jeep, and oh man, Jordan, I see that. Get a Jeep Gladiator. I was showing that to my wife. I saw a post that Ron Carter put up, and I was like, Jennifer, that's the name of my wife. I was like, please, can we get this whenever we get rid of whenever it's time to upgrade or get another vehicle? Can we please get this Jeep Gladiator? And if you don't know what a Jeep Gladiator is, we're gonna learn all about it. But it's a truck. It's a Jeep like a Wrangler. They put a truck bed on it, and this one that they posted the picture of, it was all black rims, had a lift on it, like 35-inch wheels, and it looked like a beast. I would drive that around. I would drive that from home to work so hard. People would probably be like, you don't need a truck. You don't need a Jeep Gladiator. You're not even using it right. But that's the beauty of it. Oh, here we go, Sherry. I have a 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee diesel, and it still runs amazing. My first car was a 1984 Jeep Cherokee. It was standard. It didn't have air conditioning. It was awesome. I got that whenever I was about a junior in high school, and that's all. I mean, that's all you need. Whenever you're in high school, at least whenever I was, and probably y'all are, I'm just excited for wheels. Like, let me go to work. Let me go to, if I want to go hang out with my friends or do whatever. That's what it was all about. Like, AC didn't matter. I'd show up sweaty, or I'd just strategically plan to work at places that had a pool because I was a lifeguard. You know, or like go, hey, we're gonna go swimming. But yeah, it was a blast. That was my first vehicle, and then my second vehicle was a Jeep Liberty, and then I ended up having another Jeep Liberty. So I've had like 3 different Jeep brand cars, but I've never had a Wrangler. Curt currently drives a Compass, and it's been running good. Yeah, he got his AC fixed. There's some people that wanted to bless him, and they were really, you know, that's awesome. They blessed him and helped him get that up and running to get his AC going. And then some other people helped him with like his alternator had went out. But it's all good. Yeah, let me know. Sherry said, what? We on the diesel Jeep Liberty that lasted a long, long time. I didn't even know if they made a diesel Jeep Liberty. That's pretty cool. The Liberty had over 250,000 miles on it when we sold it. Wow. And Robin from Max Masters, that's right. She has a Wrangler. It's a shiny, bright red Jeep Wrangler. we ran into each other at Best Buy, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, did you just get this? And she did, but it was a very cool car. So Kurt's out there. He's hanging out. Ron Carter, League City, they're here. It looks like they're getting caffeinated. They're excited, ready to go. I'm ready to go. We're learning about everything that they are going to be offering. What does the summer look like for cars? I don't know. When's a good time to buy? I always feel like there's a good time to buy anything, you know, and housing fluctuates. Do cars fluctuate? Like if you had to get something and you wanted to show up and have the best car there, like what do you get? You know, we've been talking about the Hellcat. That's because we did a video last year. We did a video last year where we were kind of just like checking out a car that was on the showroom floor, and that was the one. That's a lot of car. It's a lot of car, and if I was driving that, I'd be driving it way too fast. You know, which I guess there's a time and place for that, but up and down I-45 when the cops are out, there's not. The camera?
You just move it right now.
Yeah. Okay, they'll come in. Yeah, we'll swap that over. Here we go. I bought a Jeep Cherokee from Ron Carter 4 years ago, and the salesperson was Jay Hernandez. That name sounds really familiar. Jay Hernandez. If you're watching right now, and I see a couple people that have mentioned something about diesels, like what is the benefit of having a diesel? Anytime that I've seen a diesel, it's always been like kind of a bigger vehicle, and then I think it gets better gas mileage, but then they never turn them off. Like I'm just thinking like a big truck pulled up and it's just like, and they just leave it on. They hop out, go in the store. You know, maybe they're dropping their kids off for school. They'd walk them in, leave the diesel. That if I understand correctly, which I have no idea, that I guess firing it up uses fuel, but if you leave it on, it kind of will be more efficient. But I don't know. And this is a good point. You know, whenever you're picking out the color of your car, this is a comment that says, FYI, red cars get more tickets. I wonder if that is true. I have heard that. You know, we do talk to some of the local police departments, and I'm going to have to remember to ask them that. Be like, hey, whenever y'all are out, do y'all target red cars, or do they just stick out more? Is there something like in our society or mentality, or it's wired into us to look for these red cars because you think of a red sports car? I don't know. I have no idea. If you're watching on Facebook, we appreciate you. If you're watching on 46, feel free to go check out our Facebook page and let us know. You know, I guess, first of all, what do you drive? What color is it? Do you get tickets if your car is red? We're going to get down to everything. How y'all doing this morning?
Good. Hey, we're good.
Hey, I'm glad that y'all are here. So Ron Carter, League City. It's not too far from here, right? You can put the headphones on if you want to. You don't have to, though.
Okay, cool. No, it's actually a couple exits.
It's not far at all. Yeah, it's just a couple exits. I was mentioning earlier, so on the way in, if I'm going, 646 on the feeder, past Amoco, I pass Ron Carter, League City. I think it's like an electric blue Jeep Wrangler that's sitting right there by one of the pull-ins, and it just keeps calling my name. I don't even like electric blue, but that car is just like screaming my name, and I was wondering if anybody else had the opportunity to go scope that one out, and if it's calling their name too, or if it's maybe just calling everybody.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing about the Wrangler. I mean, they come in all colors, and you
can even get lime green.
Wait, why are we talking about Wranglers? They're not even a real Jeep, right?
That's true. The Compass is actually the Jeep.
The Jeep of every driver.
Jeep of choice.
Do they still make Jeep Compasses?
Yeah, there's a new one. It's actually really cool. It looks exactly like the Grand Cherokee, just smaller.
Yep.
Dude, that's what's up, man. Maybe it's time to upgrade
to a newer Compass. By the way, okay, so you guys have Jeep Compasses at Ron Carter, and so maybe you can help me understand this a little bit as car people. So in 2010, right, we went to the moon in 1969, right?
I remember, yeah.
2010 is when my Jeep Compass was created. Okay, I feel like I grew up in the 90s with vehicles with automatic locks. I grew up in vehicles that had automatic windows, right?
That's correct.
So why in 2010 did Jeep Compass decide that my Jeep Compass didn't need I had to use the crank.
You bought it used, right?
Yes.
If it's a Compass and it has the roll up windows, it was most likely a rental car.
Oh.
Which is still a good buy. I mean, when you need a car,
You need a car.
you need a car.
Did you rent it and never return it? I never really got the full story how you came into possession of that vehicle.
Let's not talk about the details. the $200 a month that I pay is to the judge, so I don't have to spend time in prison.
Well, no, the lots of cars that are in the used market are rental cars. I mean, most rental car companies have their own car lots now too. I mean, you'll see like the Enterprise rental place, stuff like that. I mean, I personally, I don't drive my rentals like I drive my own car. I drive them pretty bad. So, but who knows? This car was probably only a rental for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, how long do they usually go out in the field? Like, do they look at miles? Like, hey, it's like 50,000 miles. We want to sell it and get something newer, maybe?
Miles is everything on a car life. Honestly, you have about 100,000 miles. That's the end of the car life in the car world. So,
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I'm driving around one with 450,000 miles on
Then
it.
you have a good product. That's a Jeep Compass. We sell those at Ron Carter Lake City.
No, that's the
Made to last.
the stereotype of a vehicle is people think at 100,000 miles it's kind of over. That's been around forever. Typical engine life, can go as long as you take care of it. Certain cars, everybody's made a product that's not that great, but like there's plenty of trucks going through our service department with 400,000 or 500,000 miles on them. Diesel trucks with God knows how many, and but a typical car you should get 200,000 miles out of it minimum if you take care of it.
Yeah, like so maintenance is probably number one. Just regularly maintaining.
Yes.
Like, the thing that comes to mind is like changing your oil. Like if anything else, right? Change your oil.
That's the most important, people.
And check it.
Yes.
Don't just look at the little thing because some cars start
The meter?
burning oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 2,000 miles, just check it just to be safe. Takes 2 minutes.
Wait, after 2,000 miles, not 12?
No, I mean, even if they tell you 5,000 miles for an oil change, you do full synthetic 8,000. I always check my oil every 2,500, 3,000 because if you do have an engine problem that's making it burn oil, you're not going to know about it until.
So I should tell you, and you're probably gonna get really mad at me, and this is why I so need a new car. But the Jeep Compass, I just wanted to see what would happen if I went 10,000 miles without changing the oil, and it was fine. It only lost an alternator and AC in the process, but
It somehow connected the oil to the AC.
right.
I do have a story, actually. People do not go 10,000 miles without changing your oil. I sold a car to a very nice lady. Never changed the oil. Engine blew up. Warranty did not cover it. But for somehow it was our fault, maybe.
Really?
So, yes, please change your oil.
I thought
Very
it was
important.
12,000 miles.
Very important to change your oil.
Man, so my car, and I don't know if it's the kind of oil that it's supposed to be used, but they say it's like 10,000. So it must be like a synthetic. Is that like a full synthetic like you're
Full
mentioning?
synthetic. It's different for tons of vehicles. Like the Compass, if you do synthetic in it, because it's obviously a smaller oil, it goes about 7,500 miles. They'll tell you 8,000. 7,500 is a better number though.
Gotcha. So
And
we got
then a truck should go 10,000 miles.
10,000 miles. We got 35 seconds. We're going to go on the FM as well. We're going to keep it going on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, maybe you have a Jeep. Have you been to Ron Carter League City? Let us know what your experience was. Let us know what you got. And then I'm curious how many miles you have on your car. And we had some people chiming in earlier saying, like, my car has 250,000 miles. They said they had a Jeep Liberty that was a diesel.
Oh, nice.
What?
Yeah, that they sold it with 250,000 miles on it, and it worked. It worked awesome. So here we go. We got 5 seconds, and we're going on the FM right now. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 9:14 a.m. We are excited. We have Ron Carter, League City here in studio. They are our newest partner here at KHEA, and we're excited to be able to partner together and share all of the things that they have going on in the community. I passed by this morning. I've been like eyeballing every vehicle in the lot, so I'm going to learn what is it going to take to get me in all of them. I'm willing to have Curt stand out in a hot dog suit spinning a Ron Carter sign. I'm willing to have him do all kinds of stuff that is borderline questionable. How do you feel? I'll let you drive one.
Okay, there you go.
So
Yes.
we have two guests in studio. Can you introduce yourselves and say your roles there at Ron Carter League City?
My name's Joe Bettis, and I am in sales.
All right.
And I'm Lucy Bettis, and I'm also in sales.
Awesome. We're excited to have y'all here. There's a pretty interesting story, and I don't know if Curt wants to talk about it. It has to do with a flyer.
You're really going to bring this up already? Like, we can't even get 2 minutes into the interview. We can't, like, have some, what is it, like nuptials? Is that what it is, where you're, like, having, like, some fun time, drinking, you know, some coffee and a birthday bang where I can't even drink bang? You know, like, just let's go. Let's go. Let's have it out. Let's go.
Hey, we're on a time crunch here. We only have 45 minutes left. Who knows
Okay.
if we'll have time to touch on this? So there's some really cool programs that are offered, you know, at Ron Carter League City.
Really cool programs. Did you see the word choice that he used?
Well, what
Yes.
they take care of the person who has a vehicle. Maybe it's older. If it meets certain requirements, I don't know if the government comes in and helps, you know, incentivize somebody to purchase a vehicle. Can you share? Do you know what program I'm talking about?
I do. Actually, we're waiting for them to bring back the program, but they will. Once, what it's called, it's the Texas Clean Air Act. If you have a 10-year or older vehicle, you're able to get $3,000 to $3,500 depending on which vehicle you choose. It's that simple. There's some couple qualifications, but it's pretty easy. Just need to have the title in hand, registered, sticker, good within the last 12 months to make sure it was on the road. And why they do that, it's to get to help keep the air clean, to get 10-year older vehicles off the road.
So in the last 10 years, have there been changes in, I guess, what the government requires for like vehicle like emissions? Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've tried to make cars a lot more environmental.
Yeah.
Friendly.
And I guess that's pretty important, right? And so I guess so Jeep will be following all those standards, of course, right?
Yeah, Jeep's doing everything now. There's even going to be a plug-in hybrid Wrangler.
You plug it into the wall.
Within the next 2 years, there's going to be one, which I think is crazy. But, I mean, they've all got, you know, turn off, eco mode, everything now. You know, a lot of people don't like it, but you know how the cars, all the new ones, when you stop at the light, engine
Idles
goes
down or turns off almost, right?
Yeah, every vehicle's doing that now.
Really?
So, yeah, for pretty much every brand, you know.
So here's a comment from Robin. Her and her family, they own Axe Masters League City. They're one of our partners here at KHEA. She said that they bought their last 4 vehicles from Ron Carter Excellent Service. I ran into her at Best Buy it was probably about 2 months ago, right? And she had a brand new red shiny Jeep Wrangler, and it looked brand new. I was like, did you just get this like off the lot and drive it over here? She's like, I just got it like today, but it was awesome.
Congratulations, Robin.
Yeah. So her last 4 vehicles there at Ron Carter League City.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know,
we need to make this happen for me. So I was wondering, okay, because we can talk about this. I'm okay now.
You had your
I
coffee,
breathed.
had some caffeine.
I had some coffee. I wish I had some bang.
It's right there.
I can't drink that.
He says he can't drink red dye.
Yeah,
He can't drink red
Don't
dye.
drink red dye.
He said it makes him feel sick. I was like, what's wrong with like the blue dye and like the green dye? Those are good for you. Red dye's the line. I'm sorry, Curt. Okay, keep going.
Anyways, we were at Coco Crepes, minding our business, mind you. Just minding our own business, going about our day.
Minding our crepes, eating pizza.
Eating pizza, Coco Crepes, Little Bellamia, you know, enjoying life, right? And then we walk outside, and I see this little poster, this little sticker hanging out of my car, and I was like, what is this? And I open it up. Well, okay, so then I was like, well, that was weird. I didn't see anybody walking through the parking lot. You know, so I start looking over at other cars, and I'm like, there's not one on that
It's
car.
maybe a little bigger than this. It's probably
Right.
about like, you know.
Yeah, I
about
wish
that
we would have
size.
kept it, because it would have been awesome today to have.
We could have framed it.
Framed it. That would have been great. But we start looking around, and I'm like, there's no other cars in this parking lot that got this. Why did mine? So I open it up, and I look, and I'm like, if your car is 10 years or older, and I was like, started doing the math. I'm like, it's 2018. Do we just drop these on any car and call it old? But apparently,
You're like, my car's 8.5 years old.
it was
It's not-
8.5 years. So then I started to think this morning as we walk in. Okay, you guys still have the program, right?
Well, actually, we're waiting for it's ran by the state of Texas.
Oh, okay.
So
bring it
I
back.
just like to let our community know that, you can qualify for down payment assistance with your 10-year or older vehicle. So that's why I put it on your car.
Yeah.
So Lucy was the one who put it on my vehicle, and I was like, I'm calling this person. And I called it up, and I was furious. And she's like, oh, it's my mistake. But, in a year and a half, when it's 10 years or old, we can do it. And I was like, okay, all right.
You should put that on your calendar and see whenever it is, like January 1 or whenever that it does hit the 10-year-old, like hopefully the program's back.
I got to thinking, right? They always roll out, like right now you can buy a 2020, right? They roll out the year before.
Yes.
So my car is probably manufactured at least more than 10 years now, right?
It'll tell you the date it was made on next to the VIN number.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I might qualify now, because if you think about it, it was probably built in 2009 if it's a 2010 Jeep Compass, right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Ah, see, I started to think about these things.
Y'all are going to go look at the VIN number, and there's going to be like a line drawn through the day, like the year, and Kurt. He's just going to write the new one down.
But just because, even if your car doesn't qualify, don't get discouraged. We can still do a trade-in value. We can still, there's a lot of other options that you have to get a newer vehicle. A lot of customers, they don't think that they could qualify or that their car would be worth anything, and we get very creative, especially Joe Bettis and I. We get very creative. We're here to sell you a car, and we're here to make an everlasting relationship with our customers.
Here's a question, and I've seen this program, and I've seen some spots on social media. This is from Perry. He said, well, they still go over $5,000 over trade value. Or how does that work?
The way it works is it's an event done by KBB. They do $5,000 over your KBB value. It's a no combined offers deal.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, it's great on certain vehicles because a lot of, especially the more affordable vehicles, they don't have $5,000 of incentives and discounts and stuff like that. Where it helps people out a lot in that, there's no financing tied to it. There's no, well, you only get this if you do this. It's pretty cut and dry. You just can't combine certain offers. But you'll see a lot of stuff now because people are so desperate to get people to their store. And then you'll get there and they'll be like, well, that's only if you finance with this company or if you do this. There's no smoke screen behind it,
Mm-hmm.
There's a rep that comes out. His name's Mike. He does all of it. He looks at your car, and then we just go from there.
Yeah,
Cool.
we get really creative trying to get that $5,000 to put on there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll even lose some money.
I heard a spot the other day. It was kind of funny. It was for a business, and I had to look at my watch and be like, what year is this? But it was like, hey, it was like a little girl telling her dad, like, no, this will happen if we go. And I don't remember the name of the company, but it was like, and the dad was like, oh, I don't believe you. So they walked into the store, and it was like for an iPhone 7 for $49.99. And I was like, wait. And the little girl was like so excited, and the dad's like, no way, an iPhone 7 for $49.95? Like, what? And I was just like, what year is it? Is it like 2006? But that's what people do. People like those little nuggets, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
They do, and a lot of people don't remember, like me. What are we on, iPhone 20 or something now? The gimmicks they get then. They're like, yeah, I want the $49 iPhone. And they're like, wait a second. This is like, I had this 2 phones ago.
Yeah, you can either get that one for $49 or you can get the new one for like $2,000. And then it's like, okay, in 2 years, it's going to be $50.
Or it's actually, sir, it's $49 a month. We just add that to your bill,
Take it to the
Fine
Apple
print.
store. They'll recycle it for free.
Yeah.
I've been told
This
that
one doesn't
on my
qualify.
iPhone.
The screen's been replaced. Yeah,
That's what's going to happen to my 2010 Jeep Compass. Is they're going to be like, hey, we'll take it. We'll recycle it for you. Well, we'll get it off. There used to be, I remember, do you remember this in it must have been because I was in college, like 2008, 2009, the Cash for Clunkers program.
Yes, I was there.
You were there for
Yes,
that? So
it was fun.
There's always something with cars.
Was there a lot of clunkers brought in?
There was a ton of clunkers brought in. I mean,
Were you handing out flyers for that?
I was.
Putting
yes.
them on clunkers?
Yes, I was. And actually, this was when we were located in Texas City. It was a lot of fun. We were down to, bare bones of inventory. It was big. I wish they would bring that back, honestly.
So if I walk into Ron Carter, what all is offered? Is it only Jeep, or is it like some Chrysler or some Dodge products? What's there?
Everything: Ram, Dodge, Chryslers, Jeeps. We've got Dodge just kind of went more to they still offer a third row SUV called the Durango and one called the Journey, but they're mainly just going to the Charger, Challenger now. They're trying to become strictly a performance brand.
Okay.
And then Chrysler's really only makes 2 cars now, because they've combined all the brands together. They just make the Chrysler 300 and the Chrysler Pacifica, which is a pretty big difference. The Chrysler Pacifica is kind of like a minivan on steroids.
Yeah.
That looks really good. It's probably the most comfortable family car made.
Did they make the Crown Victoria?
No, that was
That's
the
Ford.
Ford. The Chrysler 300, though, is kind of similar. It's huge. It looks really good. Actually, right now they have insane rebates. If anybody wants one, they're like $5,000 just in rebates. But it's more sporty. You can get them with chrome rims. You can get them with black rims.
Yeah.
They come standard with 20s. It's a real sharp looking car.
Yeah, because the 300 is really awesome. But whenever I think of Chrysler, I don't think of. I mean, that's like a total rebrand. I think because I think of like, hey, is this grandma driving this car? It's like a Chrysler, like grandma's driving the Chrysler. But that's not, the 300. That's a really cool car. I remember whenever they kind of came out with that and rebranded it. I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago now. But man, that's a cool car.
Oh yeah, the V6, it drives amazing. It's great gas mileage.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And can we go through all the Jeeps there are now? Because I know there's Wrangler.
Well, the Jeeps,
Nobody cares about the Wranglers.
No. All right. Well, if you got, I guess we can kind of go in size. You start with the Renegade, which is kind of our smaller SUV. It was actually kind of geared more towards trying to catch the youth to get them into a starter Jeep, but it's hit every market. But it looks small, but that car is actually really big on the inside, and it can drive in up to 14 inches of water.
Kurt went and looked at one that was, I think, a used one not too long ago. I mean, it was this year, but it had a backup camera. The stereo was
Everything.
slick, like the sound system, all black.
Was that the one that we looked at?
leather, yeah.
That one was a good one.
Yeah.
And that
They
car's
had
actually made in
speakers.
Italy.
They
Italy?
had speakers
Yeah.
up in the top, right? Was that the one that?
No,
you're
that
thinking?
was a different one. That was the one. I'm talking about the all black one. The one that we looked at the other day that had speakers in the top.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about a different one.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the one that I was
So
like,
that's-
oh my gosh.
That's number one, and then you go to the famous Compass, which is been out for 2 years now in the new body style. And like I said, it looks just like the Grand Cherokee, but a little smaller. It's super sharp.
Listen,
Brand.
I agree with KHEA Radio. They just commented on our live stream. They said there isn't any other Jeep besides the Compass, and I have to agree with them on that.
Oh wow.
And then after the Compass, you jump to the Cherokee, which is a little bigger, not a ton, but a little bigger, different look. That's one of our most popular ones also. And then you go, of course, to the Grand Cherokee, which that's kind of our
Luxury.
that's our, you can get one with a Hellcat engine. They have a $103,000, Grand Cherokee, and they have a $27,000 Grand Cherokee. So that car covers a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
But they all drive great, and it's really just as far as mid-size SUV, which is becoming like the favorites. It used to be women drove SUVs. Now almost everybody drives SUVs. People are leaving sedans. They're not driving small cars anymore, especially since Harvey. So that's become one of our most popular vehicles by far, is probably the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee. But after the Grand Cherokee, of course, you have the Wrangler, and then we have the new Gladiator, which is, people call it the Wrangler truck, but that's really just a mid-sized Jeep truck that looks exactly like a Wrangler. We're not supposed to call it the Wrangler truck.
The Gladiator.
Yeah, that's the one we're the most excited about right now, just because it's new and it's it's a mid-sized truck. It competes in there with like Ranger, Tacoma, Chevy, Colorado, GMC Canyon. The only difference is ours is cool.
Right. A Wrangler with a bed.
Yeah, and it's an awesome.
How could you get any more cooler than
Yeah,
that?
it's an awesome truck.
You could basically, you don't need an apartment, right?
No, exactly.
You just sleep in the car. Drive up to Walmart every night and park in the lidded up,
Well, you know how car commercials are great now. Haven't you seen them? They have like a little build-up tent for it and everything now. You know what I mean? You know how every car now shows you a tent you can put in the bed for camping?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come with the cute little dog in the commercial, but other than that,
That's extra.
Yeah.
you can get the tent though.
I'm trying to look for this picture.
I could save so much money by not having, let's do, okay, this is what we can do. I'll move out of my apartment, right? I just need right? And then I'll take that extra money that I'm spending on the apartment and put it towards a car.
Let's do it.
Right?
I brought credit apps. I can come.
You might want to run this by your girlfriend, though, before you move into the car.
Yeah, not very many girlfriends would stay with people who
The
don't.
Wrangler? Gladiator? Come on. I think so.
It's nicer than your apartment.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
I saw a picture of a Gladiator that was posted on, I think, y'all social media, but it had like a lift on it. It had bigger tires. It was all black. And I was showing my wife. I was like, hey, look, next car. I know you got the SUV right now. The kids will maybe fit in the bed of the truck. We could pretend like it's 1990. Like I did it. It was cool. Maybe we put a little a cover on it so that way they don't fly out for sure. I said we got to get one of these. Let's figure it out.
I know my girlfriend then would love this. Let's do it.
I'm in the same
ready.
boat. We want a Gladiator too, but we got a lot of kids.
Yeah, we do. His parents just bought one, though, so maybe we could borrow it on the weekends, Mom, Dad, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
Joe Bettis really is a Jeep expert, though. He's owned them his whole life. He knows everything. I know that nobody could stump him with a question, a Jeep question.
Interesting. If you have a question,
Yeah.
let's get him. No.
See if you can stump Joe Bettis.
And she's pretty supportive of the Jeeps because our HOA is kind of tired of them all over the driveway.
Oh yeah, tell him what we have in our driveway right now.
Yeah, how many vehicles do you have?
Oh, well, luckily we I don't know. For Jeeps we have two. I have a 1984 Jeep Scrambler, and then I have a 1995 Jeep YJ with 12,000 miles. That was kind of just a lucky find. That's why
That's
we have
nothing.
that
No
one.
miles on it, right?
No, it's like it was one that somebody just bought and pulled behind a motorhome for years.
Mm-hmm.
That actually I won't take the inspection sticker off because it's from 2002. That's how long it's been since they had it inspected. So I kept that kind of as like a little trophy.
That's cool.
But just those two, and then of course we drive the Chrysler Pacifica
I love my van.
because we have two in car seats, and one of our oldest just graduated, and our nephew that lives with us just started high school. So we take advantage of the Pacifica with our 4 gargantuous kids in car seats.
Yeah, now it's like the law is a little bit different. It's like, hey, they have to weigh 100 pounds or be this tall, and they have to sit in a booster. I'm like, what? Like, I remember being a kid and sitting in the front seat, and seatbelts were optional, and then it's like, well, you got to buckle in the front seat.
You have to be 15 or something like that to sit in the front. I've heard like 10 different laws.
Oh yeah.
You see, and I'm, like with the social media we're talking about, I see stuff all the time like, kids now in Texas have to be 14 to ride in, the front seat, or, I saw the other day that it's like a felony to smoke in the car with a kid now, or
I love that.
all sorts of
That's good.
stuff. Don't
That's
ask
good.
your car salesman though for traffic laws advice, because I read this stuff and I'm like, I thought it was 15. I thought it was 13. We'll just debate it the same as everyone else. But
Yeah. We should find out the real law and make PSAs.
Yeah, we should.
We
I bet
should.
those, like, people would really enjoy those. And it's like brought to you by Ron Carter League City.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
I
That'd be
want
great.
to know when they can come out of the booster seat now though, because when you put little kids in the booster car seats, we obviously understand why we have those, but like those boosters, I'm like, really? I can't just toss them in the car.
I remember being
really
a
gonna
little
help.
kid in the back of the station wagon,
I
just
know.
bouncing around.
Me too. We had a Ram Charger.
Those were the-
what's it called?
I'm still
Charger.
fine.
Yeah, Ram Charger.
I mean, I have an 83 IQ, but I'm good.
It's slightly low. I mean, it could be
Slightly,
worse.
it's just like 2 points below average.
I
Right.
remember being in like kindergarten and me and my sister fighting over the front seat, So
Right.
now that's
We
like junior high.
survived. Woohoo!
Yes.
Survival of the fittest, right?
Right.
No?
It's like I was
See,
all
I-
about bicycle helmets, but now we're just going too far.
I draw the line at bicycle helmets.
My first vehicle was a 1984 Jeep Cherokee. So I was in probably like a junior or sophomore in high school, and my grandparents gave it to me. So it was like 2002. No AC, standard. I had the roll down windows. There was only AM radio, but I was ready to go, and it got me everywhere I needed to go. I loved that car.
This guy, he had a ton of new cars when he was little. Well, not new, but how many cars did you have during high school? 4?
Well, my dad's been in the car business
Yes.
my whole life, So it was it never felt like it was my car. I just drove whatever
Dad
they
was
told
like,
me
"You
to
can drive this right now."
drive this, yeah. But they weren't brand new cars, they were used cars, but stuff like that. But I had one Jeep that was actually my car for a little while, but unfortunately, like you said, the AC went out in it, and my dad fixed the AC and sold it while I was at a camp too.
Oh man!
But
That's
and
tough.
then we actually when I was in college, I had a Jeep that was actually the Texans coach's Jeep. He traded it in, and it actually had John Elway Jeep. That was the dealership he bought it at in Denver. But I had Gary Kubiak's Jeep.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you a big Texans fan?
I am actually. I'm a Giants fan though too.
How did that happen?
Wait,
What
wait.
are
I
you?
went to.
His was
This
the guy
guy.
we talked. The other guy's a Giants fan too.
Yes, me and Joe are both Giants fans.
Oh.
Well, part of it's because of the cable we had growing up. That's
Yeah.
also actually why he's also a Cubs fan. I'm not a Cubs fan though. I'm an Astros fan. And then I also lived in New York for quite a few years, so I've just.
Yeah, that's cool. At least you have the
Joe.
connection.
But
It's-
I'm a Texans fan. When I'm here,
whenever it's Gary Kubiak
we have
that's
season
buying a car.
tickets. We just give them away all the time. So
Cool.
I'm excited for this clone of Eli Manning to be good.
let's hope so.
I mean, because the other 16 versions of him didn't really work out, so I'm hoping this one does.
Oh really?
man.
Have the Texans beat Brady in the Super Bowl twice? Eli did.
That's true. That's
Those were the good clones.
The good close. The two. I'll take 2 Super Bowls.
Hey, so you mentioned your dad was in the car business.
He
So
still
you
is.
you growing up, I mean, did it automatically just make sense? What drew you to getting into the business as well?
I really liked it because one, it was the only business I was ever exposed to. My grandfather is also in the car business.
What? Okay.
When I was,
he's-
of course, when I went to college and stuff, I didn't plan on doing it because you want to do your own thing, you want to do something different. But the car business is so big and complex that I like working for our company because it's a family company. But you get to meet new people every day. You get to build your own customer base. We have people that we sell that she was selling their grandparents 15 years ago, and now they're buying their kids' car. We sold them their first car, so that part's really cool. But I guess to be honest, how I got in it was I ran out of money and I needed a job, and I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna go sell cars. I've been watching that happen for years, and I was gonna do it for 1 year, and then I was gonna go to dental school. That's when I actually met her. Unfortunately, I got really good at it, and I never went to dental school. And,
Still want him to though.
but
Perks. Come on.
I will let you practice on my teeth.
Me too. I'm like, get us some
Like-
bleach. Something.
I'd rather sell you a car.
True.
But yeah, I mean, I was always exposed to it, and it's just a lot of fun. One,
It is.
y'all are in a similar environment. You work with the same people every day. We're basically like a big family up there. I mean, come on, I married my coworker, so
That's true. I've been. This is all I know.
Did you
too.
know, like whenever he comes in day one, and you're like, that's
Oh,
my.
no.
I told her
He-
after a month. She just didn't take me serious.
We butted heads actually.
Uh oh.
Yeah, we did.
When did this happen?
It just happened organically, I guess.
But what was the year?
Don't
Oh,
ask those type of-
2015 finally, or we met in
14?
14.
When did we get married, or when did we get together? I don't know, man. You're gonna get me in trouble. You're gonna get me in trouble. I'm
It
supposed to
started
know
with
these
a little
things.
flirting, and then it started with a little arguing, and then, just
Is there competition like between the sales? Like who's
Oh,
selling?
yeah.
Well, we're a team, so
We're a
we work
team.
together. But yeah, I mean, there's a competition. I mean, we obviously want everybody wants to finish first, but everybody wants everyone to do good. That's
we
how the
do.
environment thrives. Is when everybody's doing good, everyone's happy. But our team's been there for a long time. We're all
Right.
competitive, but we all kind of know who does
Yeah.
what. We've got some veterans in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some really good salespeople there that have good customer bases. Even our customers, will joke with, they'll be like, oh, we'll go see so and so. No, I work with so and so. It's almost kind of like a barber shop. People have their person, but we we do really well with keeping employees. You know, if you've been inside of a dealership, you see a lot of different faces when you go in there. We're not like that. We're the same faces. Some of them have been there since I was a kid.
Is there someone there named Jay?
Jay Hernandez.
Yeah, someone had mentioned here earlier in the stream, like, hey, I bought my vehicle, my Jeep from Jay Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Gracie just said, good morning. Hey, I bought my Jeep Rubicon, Robert, yeah, from him. He was great to work with. I'm sorry, I messed up those names because I only know one Jeep.
Unicorn. The
Compass.
Jeep Unicorn.
The Jeep
The
Compass.
one and only.
And that was Jay. She said she bought it from.
No, she bought it from you.
Oh, who was it?
Gracie Villarreal.
Oh, okay. Hey, Gracie. Thank you.
We had her on our show just a little bit ago. She has done some really cool stuff in the community. Was featured on the Voyage magazine.
Fitness.
And fitness.
Oh, wonderful.
I want to say her husband bought a car the same day. Ask her.
That's always a good day.
I'm actually. I think. Remember, we sold her a Jeep. They were from Pasadena. We sold her a Jeep, and then he bought a truck, and then he brought it back 3 days later and got the lifted truck instead. I'm almost positive. Yes. I told you I'd never forget my customers.
How many cars have you guys sold like together?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, a lot.
Our goal this month is 40, so we really need help for everybody to come and send us some customers and get us to our goal.
When is it a good time to buy a car?
Really, there's no good time. I mean, there's always a good time, but there's
Every
no
day.
set time. People are like, well, I'm going to wait till the end of the year. Well, that doesn't matter. We've already got 2020s out. We've still got 2018s on the lot, it's depending on when your cars come out. It really just depends which vehicle and what month. Like right now is a great time to buy. This month, trucks, 300s, and Jeep Cherokees. This is like a really, really good time. Like I wouldn't risk waiting.
But the Challenger and Charger have $10
The
horsepower
Chargers
right now.
and Challengers are actually really
So if you're looking for a Hellcat or Scat Pack, right?
or just a regular V6,
Or a
you're going
V6.
real big. Hey, if y'all are looking for a Hellcat, come on in.
So it's an incentive. Like, is that what makes it a good time to buy for those?
The incentives,
Okay.
because a lot of people think, that the dealers decide the incentives. We don't. I mean, they did 15% off 20% off half the trucks like 3 months ago. I've never seen that before. It hasn't come back. That
Right.
we'll probably never see
We do
again.
have a story of a lady who wanted to think about it, and
She
her
lost $10,000.
Yeah,
in
her
incentives.
salesman told her, "Look, ma'am, I'm not just saying this. I'm being honest, And
Yeah.
no, I'm going to take my chances." She came back the next morning. We couldn't do anything, We couldn't jick the paperwork to make the rebate work. I mean, she lost out. And last year, I remember slim pickings. So don't wait till the very end of the year, especially on Rams. There was people looking for Laramies with, X, Y, and Z, and there was nothing out there left. So
the end of the year is a good time too. Don't get me wrong, but
It
a lot of
is,
that's an old
slim
school,
pickings.
like the 100,000-mile thing. That's a misconception. People think wait till the end of the year. The summer, like right now, this is always a great time.
Cool. So it's 9:42 right now, and we have a spot that we created yesterday for Ron Carter League City, and it's been playing in rotation on our FM, and we're pretty. I mean, this is like a genuine conversation. We just hit record.
It is.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break from the FM. We're gonna play this spot and then play a couple songs. We're gonna keep it going on Channel 46. We're also gonna keep it going on our Facebook stream. So here we go.
Gardy, I've been looking to upgrade my 2010 Jeep Compass.
You want to get rid of the bad boy 2010 Jeep Compass?
Yeah, why not get a Hellcat from Ron Carter in League City?
Kurt, you might need to look at something maybe other than a Hellcat. I think that's a little bit fast for you. But Ron Carter League City has many options to choose from.
How can I learn more about Ron Carter League City?
It's easy. They're on Facebook, and you can buy a vehicle right from the website roncarterleaguecity.com.
When I go, I'll make sure I mention that I heard about Ron Carter League City right here on KHEA Radio.
Thank you, Ron Carter League City, for partnering with KHEA Radio.
I love that spot. That's a great spot, right?
I think it sounds great.
I love it.
Y'all guys
Ron
are
Carter
awesome.
League City. I love it.
Ron Carter League City. I still want the Hellcat, but
Man,
Gardy, it's too much power for me.
I think it's too much for you. You need to start with the Renegade, or a Rubicon, or I'll draw you a picture of a Jeep, and you handle that. Take care of that in your pocket for a week. Come back to me, and then we'll talk about
I
something.
would like to get you out to the dealership test driving some different vehicles, products, give us feedback. You want to?
I mean, are you
Whenever you
an
have time?
SUV guy? Are you a truck guy? Are you a
Man, I want a
sedan guy?
truck so bad. So here's the thing: is I work for KHEA Radio, and we do a lot of video productions, and I love having my production gear with me. So a truck would be nice because there's sometimes when I need a lot of equipment, and I don't know, would be nice. There was a pickup. Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, trucks are always that's in the summer. You mentioned time to buy trucks. This is the time of the year for trucks because this is when our inventory is the thickest. You know, it's when incentives are great, and it's so hot outside. We really want to make deals because it's hard to get people in right now because nobody wants to walk
the
outside.
lot.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think before we get him a truck, he needs to see if he can wear like a Dodge T-shirt for like a week and see if he can handle that and take care of it.
Okay.
Why?
but Dodge doesn't make trucks anymore. He's gonna have to get a Ram T-shirt.
So it's Ram.
Ram's its own
That's the way it
brand.
works. Oh, that's cool.
I'll get you a Ram T-shirt. I
Ram.
actually should have brought one.
I will
Rude now.
wear it, and I will wear it every day for a week, and it'll look good.
Okay.
There might be some drips of like hamburgers and hot dogs and
Cocoa.
But
cheese.
no red dye from the bank.
No, no red dyeing on his
Stinking
shirt.
Power Punch bang over here, and that's all that's left in the fridge is Power Punch bangs.
Well, they came out with like 500 flavors. You can't even I used to would just grab the color, and now there's like 3 that color. So I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
I thought this was purple. Now it's
I'm not
this is
even gonna get
Bankster
started on the
Berry,
dyes.
or I got one called Sour Heads the other day. I was like, I thought this was Star Blast.
Did you
or
like it?
Starburst. Sour Heads is pretty good.
I didn't like that one.
Really?
I
That
didn't
was too
either.
much for me.
The cotton candy was good at first, but
I
it's
can't
too
try
much now.
Hey, Ron Carter on our social media page commented on ours, said check out our T-shirts on our Instagram story. That's why I brought it up because I did see that on the story. They were like, hey, we got all these shirts, and people like to represent their brand, especially people who drive Jeeps because it's like a, without
It's a weird cult
it's a club.
club.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
It's like that's what
It
they
is.
they actually even named a program. They called it Jeep Wave, which is you register your Jeeps and it gives you gives you updates on recalls. Every Jeep has Jeep Wave now, but the reason they did that was because the Jeep Wave has been around forever. You notice people that drive Jeeps, now it's all Jeeps. It used to really just be Wranglers. Anytime you see another person in a Wrangler, you
Give
wave.
them the thumbs up, the
yeah,
wave,
the wave.
it's like the
Jeep-
motorcycle
the Jeep
guys
Wave.
do, yeah, just
Exactly.
And I'll tell you a funny story about that. There was this guy in my neighborhood that was always outside, never would wave back to me. We would just to be nice because everybody's like walking his dog and they stare at you as you're driving down the street. I was growing up. I used to always wave. He never waved me, and he had a Jeep. And then finally one day he saw me in my Jeep and he waved to me. I was like, oh hey, and then he flagged me down. I was like, I like your Jeep. Never said another word to me after that. But
only in the Jeep.
yeah,
Only
but
in the Jeep.
those people you wave at and they don't wave back and it's just awkward. You're like, oh okay.
Yeah,
I've told her this story like 100 times. He wouldn't wave.
we have some people waving with their emojis. They gave the 2 fingers up. Jordan did. Man. Sherry said, and I'm not sure what this means, says we have a Ram with Ram box. Is Ram box trucks are rare?
Yeah,
Is that
Ram
something?
boxes are like the toolboxes on the bed of the truck.
Okay.
Or ice chest.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or you can use them as an ice chest too. They're great. Actually, our general manager, she just bought a beautiful new truck for her husband, and it's got Ram boxes on it. But the new body style, the 19, is the Ram boxes are bigger than the old ones because the bed's a little bigger. They're ridiculously functional. You can put anything in there. Tools. I mean, I've put my deer rifle in there. Plenty of stuff. You can take down a fishing pole, break them down, put them in there, lock them so they don't get stolen. They're great. When you lock your car, they lock with it.
Trucks seem to be getting bigger and bigger.
And with
Ew.
better gas mileage,
Yeah.
that's what's crazy is, his was a 4x4 Ram, like the biggest one is like 23 miles to the gallon. I remember my first truck that was 4x4. Granted, this is a long time ago. I think I got like 8 miles to the gallon, and
Yeah.
a 2-wheel drive
Exactly.
got like a 12. So now you're not really
Crazy.
5.7 Hemi's getting the same gas mileage as a Pennstar V6, Challenger. It's pretty wild.
One thing you mentioned earlier about more people moving towards, like mid-sized SUVs or trucks, and with Harvey, a lot of people had to get new vehicles. And then you also said earlier that Gracie's husband, you believe, came back and got a lifted truck. Do y'all do that stuff there, like lifting it up?
We
What's
do.
the benefit of having one?
What's nice about doing it, having a lifted truck, that's, I don't know how many more Harveys we're gonna have. Let's, hope
Pray
none.
not another.
You know, but you know, it was obviously those lifted trucks. Those people looked real smart during Harvey. You know, but you know, they're just a lot of fun. People like to go off road. They like to go to the beach, and let's be honest, a lot of people just like to look cool. You know, with Jeeps, people push their Jeeps to the limit. You know, these Jeep clubs and all this stuff. You know, a lot of these guys are showing you go on their pages and they're posting videos of them rock climbing at 90-degree angles. And
My Jeep Compass group has a ton of people in it. Hey, our tally light's not on. Here we go. Our Jeep Compass has I have 800,000 people in that group.
800
Don't
and
go
1,000.
climbing rocks at 90
800,000.
degrees.
I tried to do. You know how we
don't do
can
that.
drive up on another person's vehicle. The cover photo of the Jeep Compass is our 2 Jeep Compasses doing that.
the sway bar disconnect. Yeah, that's actually the feature of a Rubicon. A lot of people think a Rubicon's a model. It is, but it's not a trim level. All it is sway bar disconnect. That's like when you see the guy that pulls into, you know, HEB and parks his tire on the light pole to look real cool. That's a Rubicon. It's just sway bar disconnect, you know, and it's made to rock climb and stuff like that, which is really cool. You know, in Texas, we do have a few places with some good rocks. You know, by like my parents' place in Marble Falls, there's an off-road park there. You know, down here where we're at, it's all mud and sand. We take our Jeeps to the beach, or people like to go mudding. But
So wait, I could get that car, drive up on top of Gardy's car, and just park my car like that,
you
and just
could.
walk in.
That's why people like to do it on their tires. You know, they'll drive and then park on his tire.
Somebody else's tire.
It's called flexing. Is actually no, that's what it's actually
The term
called.
is
That's the term.
flexing.
Is flexing.
I could see that in the future, if I had this car, Gardy would stop taking the birthday bang and leaving me with the power punch, because then he would know, like, man, if I make Curt mad,
You
he's
would
gonna
dent my
drive.
car. There's like zero tires sticking out. There's no way you could pull on my tire.
Exactly. Don't make me mad.
You're always mad about something. I can't help it. There's always
See?
stuff going on. Like he's driving his car just mad. Just driving like I'm driving this car so mad, so sweaty. But you have AC
Now you
now,
have AC.
so that's exciting.
Yeah, so I can turn it in and get a better. See, that's the other thing is now I feel bad. I was like, I have to keep this car forever because somebody helped me with the air
That's
conditioning.
true. It was a blessing. Huge blessing.
So
I
I'd be
couldn't
like,
imagine.
hey,
not-
thank you for fixing my AC. I got a new car this week. That just
I
doesn't
would like
look
everybody
good.
who doesn't have AC
That was
to
cool,
come see
though.
us. Maybe we can get you in a new car.
It's hot
Newer
out there. We had
vehicle.
that happen a week or two ago. We had a real nice lady from Alvin. She traded in her AC, went out in Durango, and she decided to get a new truck. But I asked her, I said, what was it like not having AC for a week or two? She was like, I only went places early in the morning and at night. And I was like, wow. Because I
That's
can't
it.
imagine not having AC at this time of year. I mean, I don't even like driving with the people like taking the tops off Jeeps. Good job, guys. It's too hot for me to do that.
Yeah, my kids found out that my wife's car has a sunroof and what that is, so it was open the other day. So they're like, "Oh, can you do that again?" My wife was like,
Oh, no.
"No, it gets way too hot. Like we'll wait, maybe like at night or something, and do that." But yeah, it's hot. You
It
have the
is.
AC blowing, and like you crack the window, and it's like the heat just comes in. It's crazy.
Like opening an oven.
Yeah. So right now it's 9:52. We have a couple minutes left in this song, and after that we'll go back on the FM and remind everybody in the FM audience, as well as the people who are watching on Facebook and on Channel 46, where they can find out more about Ron Carter League City.
I can't wait. We have things in the works, by the way. Potentially, we still need to talk about you, but these were ideas that you and I have kind of bounced back and forth. We want to do a day where we do our show or do something at Ron Carter League City, which would be a lot of fun.
That
Yeah,
would.
really fun.
And just be like, come and see us and
There's a popcorn
check out
machine.
there's a popcorn machine,
Snacks.
we got a soda
unlimited
fountain.
snacks. soda
water.
fountain.
It would probably be one of the really awesome like shows that we've ever had because there's drinks and popcorn.
And I'm sure we can get the hamburger guy to come out or hot
the
dog
taco guy?
Yeah. Or the taco guy. What was I thinking?
You'll have like a
Yes.
taco truck or something, or
Oh,
No,
yeah.
You set up shop?
We have a guy
sets
that
up.
comes out every once in a while, a couple times a year. Whenever they make us work a holiday or something like that, we have two different guys. One guy comes out. He does. If you've ever been there on, Memorial Day or 4th of July weekend, we always have him out there for that, doing hamburgers and hot dogs because that's super American. And then
Yeah.
sometimes we have the taco guy, and he just comes out there and makes tacos. and
Amazing
tortillas and stuff.
tacos.
We
No,
need that guy
amazing.
in our Talk of Taco cook-off.
You do. He
You
is
should. We use them at the house all the time, like whenever we do family parties and stuff like that.
Seriously.
Because it's almost easier than cooking now.
We need a Ron Carter team.
Let's do it.
Does anybody at Ron Carter like throw down on some tacos, or like even you?
We just
So
did last night.
Yeah, I
we
was
threw
just
down
saying,
some
we did this
tacos.
last night.
We need like Team Ron Carter League City.
Let's do it. That
So-
sounds like a fun event.
If you are interested, if you're watching right now and you are interested in having a cook-off team and wondering what we're talking about the Talk of Taco Cook-Off, which is taking place October 12th right here in Lamarck, Texas, 601 Delaney Road. Go visit talkoftaco.com. That's talkoftaco.com to register and to sponsor the event.
All right, we got 5 seconds, and we're going to go back on the FM, and we'll be able to remind everybody what's going on. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 9:55 a.m. We are going to be on till 11. Right now, we're talking to Ron Carter League City about everything that they have to offer, everything that is going to be taking place, I'm going to say for the rest of the year, because right now is a good time to buy, like what, if you're looking for a vehicle at Ron Carter?
Trucks are great right now. Chrysler 300s, Jeep Cherokees, and all the Dodge products.
And then during the holiday season, is there usually like a new incentive like rolled out for different vehicles, or does it depend?
It really depends. It can change. You know, Jeep is the most consistent, but they do special stuff every once in a while. Like right now, there's quite a few Jeeps that have 0% financing, which is really great, you know, because it's up to 72 months, where a lot of people advertise and it's like 48, which nobody does. And then Jeep's been pretty consistent. Right now, the Cherokee has like $6,000 in rebates, which is really, really special. Last month, it was like $3,500. 300s right now, insane. Chargers and Challengers. Those three are great. Those have been the best they've been all year.
Do y'all offer financing there?
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
we do financing through multiple local banks as well as all the major ones. You know, we have up to, I think, like 50 lenders. You know, especially with this area, a lot of people like to use their credit unions, TD, CU, Amico,
Yeah, we're partnered with
JSC.
them.
We're partnered with all of them. You can sign all your stuff right there at the dealership. Some of them even give you a better rate for signing with us because we're a preferred dealer.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's more convenient for the customer.
Here's another question. Do y'all offer diesel vehicles there?
Absolutely. We have a ton. And right now we have quite a few really good deals on 18 diesels because the 19 was a new body style. But, yeah, I think we've got right at 45, 50 on the lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But, you know, 250s, 350s, anything you're looking for, dually, single wheel, long bed, short bed, we have it.
How many cars are on the lot?
A lot.
400.
It varies, you know, but we're one of the, inventory-wise, we're one of the biggest in the city, you know, because we have quite a bit of space. Anybody that's ever driven by our facility, you know, we're right there on the line. We're half in League City, half in Dickinson, what I like to call the Dickinson lot or the truck lot. I mean, we have more trucks than most people have all cars put together. But if I had to guess, I don't know, 400, 500.
So if
No,
everybody,
I have no idea. A lot.
if someone walks through and looks at every car, like 500, they're like, well, I like this one, but I like these two features. Can y'all like hunt down the vehicle that they
Of course.
want?
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
We
you know.
have really good relationships with other dealerships that we trade with. So,
Mhm.
or you can actually order.
Yeah, if
Fine.
it's something that just is really, really unique and nobody has it, you can always order it. But 9 times out of 10, say this like this is the perfect car, but I want it in red. We don't have a red one. I can get you a red one by tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And he's so great. Like just yesterday, what did we sell? The Charger Scat Pack?
Yeah,
He
the day before.
personally went, called one of his really good friends, that's a manager somewhere, and personally went and got the car himself and had the customer in it in 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
He
so
did.
one of
He
my
goes
best
above and
friends.
beyond every time. Well, we both do.
And
Yeah.
that's important when getting a car. Because
yeah.
You're going to come back to that.
She's making it sound really good. Those 392s, I didn't mind driving that, you know. drive one there and then drive the same car back, just in a different color. It was,
Yeah,
it was
but come
pretty
on.
fun.
What salesman do you know is going to actually go and take that initiative and go above and beyond?
I will drive any car ever, you know, like
Just around.
just around.
Well, no, in an area
Hey, we
like
can call
this,
you for our
have to-
dealer trades.
I'd be down. I would seriously do it just to drive the vehicle and be like, oh, this is what it's nice. Gardy won't even let me sit in the front seat.
We're going to do a test drive day for you. I'm going to put a schedule whenever you're ready.
And then y'all can tell us what y'all like about certain cars.
Right.
Or-
We could
'cause
film
the
it.
feedback is always good, too.
Yeah, we like feedback. We want to know, you know,
Because we have something for everybody. There's
we do.
tons of cars.
See, but I might not be the expert on this because if it moves it grooves, right?
Well, that's good. We want people that aren't experts to let us know what they like, what they don't like. We
Yeah.
want to improve. Always improving. Always trying to better our service skills and sales skills. Really.
So we have, one more question, and then I'm going to ask y'all, just to remind everybody where you guys are at. But, who do they ask for whenever they come to Ron Carter League City? Who should they be asking for to get some help?
Joe or Lucy.
Joe or Lucy Bettis. Yes.
All right. So is there anything else y'all like to share while you're here today?
Just we're ready whenever you guys are. Can we give our cell phone number?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Ask for Lucy Bettis. I specialize in second chance financing. I've been doing this a very long time. Been with Ron Carter since 2005. Good credit, no credit, any credit, slow credit, no problem. My number's 832-226-2645.
And if she doesn't answer, you can call 281-630-2739. Let's put some dreams in driveways.
All right. Thank you
stole
so
that
much.
slogan.
Where'd you get it from? 'Cause-
Her.
Oh,
Okay, no, okay, hold
not
on.
really
If David
stealing.
Holman's listening, you know that I started that slogan. Dreams and driveways.
Y'all are awesome. Thank you. And we'll come visit soon.
Yeah, let's plan something.
This is KHEA Radio. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. Here we go.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome. And you were going to say something about the Taco Taco cook-off?
Yeah. As much as I'd like to do that, I think I'd be better as a judge.
Everybody
Hey,
wants to be
yeah,
a judge.
we can.
I guess I'm not the first guy that's asked that.
We can actually
We need
put
cook-off
cars out
team.
there, do whatever. Yeah.
Let's do that.
We can
That'd
put
be
cars
so
out
fun.
there. We can give away
That's
T-shirts,
what's
whatever
great,
y'all
'cause
want us
we're right
to
down
do.
the road too. Anytime we're doing like a church event, put a couple cars out here.
Do people
down.
buy booths there?
Wait, why don't
Yeah, we're doing like a vendor booth thing.
It'd be cool if we could park one in front of the church for Sundays too.
We probably could.
Man,
You know,
We have to
like
ask.
where everybody has to walk by. Ask them.
Yeah, just whatever we could do. And we would love to host an event for y'all to come out and do it from Ron Carter. Maybe we can do like a little track on the side where the trucks are or something in the very back where there's no.
We always do stuff with cars, like even events here where you need them or something. So,
If y'all need a car to borrow, yeah,
Okay.
let us know.
and if you go to talkoftaco.com, it will link to an Eventbrite page, and you can see, because you can do like a vendor booth if y'all wanted to come out and have like Ron Carter swag or shirts or sell them or have some cars there. That would look so cool.
That would.
So yeah, go to talkoftaco.com,
Taco.
and if you have any questions, and we'll talk soon anyways.
Sure.
Let us know, and we can work out whatever. So
Thank you. This was fun.
thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. I'm going to go grab some more coffee because
Just because.
There's no bang. Thank y'all so much, brother.
All right, hey, we're about to switch it up. We're going to be talking budget when it comes to the city of Lamarck. So, city council meetings and taxes are something that everybody should be paying attention to, no matter where you live. For us, we are very, very fortunate that we get to broadcast from the city of Lamarck, and we get to showcase, and we love to showcase everything that is going on. So people have questions. If you have questions maybe and you are a citizen of Lamarck, we're going to encourage you to ask. We're going to be going over what I understand is the proposed budget for this next year, which is a big deal. You should be paying attention to these things because this will definitely affect your life. It affects your money, and you can see where it's going and just see what's going on. So how you doing, Mr. Jackson?
Good. How are you this morning?
I'm good. So we got an email, and I saw like a giant PDF that was posted on social media not too long ago, and it was long, and it was like, I would say hundreds of pages. I was like kind of going through it, and I was looking through the index and saying like, oh, what am I curious about, right? And so there's also a PowerPoint that it reads the City of Lamarck proposed budget recap, and it's a lot easier to read through, except when I get to the charts, and then I'm just like confused like at the end. So what's going on with the budget?
Well, so the budget recap that you're talking about, the PDF, I did that for this morning. We're going to start trying to have some public outreach to try to filter that information down. You're right, the draft budget, the proposed budget, it's over 400 pages long. And unless you are in city government and you're working in city government every day, it's pretty hard for everybody to understand.
Mm-hmm.
We did have the budget workshops with the council members. That was 3 days, and it was 8 hours a day basically for 3 days, and everybody could watch it and kind of try to get some information out of that. But we're trying to boil it down and get to the real meat and potatoes. We have departments and we have to run the departments, and we have to have people fixing water leaks and doing all that stuff, and that's stuff we do every year. But what's really different in this budget? What are we trying to do different in this? What are we trying to fix in this? And that's where we're getting at with this recap and starting to try to talk to everybody about what's going on.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. The very first slide, it says, what are the biggest issues? It has general fund, utility fund. Can you kind of break down, I guess, who decides what those issues are? Is it the council is like, hey, or y'all just like as a city say, like, this is what we need to focus on and present it?
So prior to the budget workshops with the council members, the mayor, city staff gets together. Each department comes in, sits down with myself, with the finance director, and we go through what their standard needs are and what are the other issues. What are the new things that have come up? What are the big things that we need to look at that could cause problems within the city? And so we boil that down and give that to the council and basically tell them, okay, here's what we have to do just to maintain your status quo. But here's problems we see coming. Here's things that need to be resolved. Here's issues that we've heard of from TCEQ or from somebody else that we have to address. And that's where we came up with a list of the biggest issues.
Yeah, I noticed the first one on there is fire trucks. And I saw some what I will call drama, or just like people bring it up, and they're curious, like, hey, I heard this fire truck doesn't work, or we have one, we have two, do we need more? Like, what's going on with the fire truck issue?
So yeah, that was a lot. There was a lot of talk before, and it just happened to come up right before budget. We had already been addressing this. I don't know if right before I got here, the former chief resigned. We had some internal issues at the fire department, so we started working on some of those things and trying to fix some of those things. When we started assessing the actual material that we had and the tools that we had at the fire department with our new fire chief, with Chief Weidman, one of the things that we looked at immediately was the apparatuses. What do we have for fire trucks? Mm-hmm. So the city has 3 fire trucks. The newest one is 10 years old, has 73,000 miles. The next one in line, I believe, is 28 years old and has 171,000 miles. Wow. And then we have one that about a year ago was involved in an accident while they were at a scene fighting a fire. That fire truck was hit from behind by another motorist and is totaled. And so we can't use that one at all for firefighting purposes. So we have 2, a 10-year-old and a 28-year-old. So we started looking at trying to figure out how we could address the fire truck situation. And council agreed that this year we need to purchase 2 new fire trucks and get some new trucks on the road. And so the plan is, out of reserves, which is money that we'll have left over from this year, we're going to purchase one outright. And then with part of what we're talking about for revenues for next year, we'll purchase a second one. So we have 2 good engines, 1 in each station, and then have at least 1 solid backup. And then during the course of this year as well, we'll be working with the fire department to try to get some applications in for some grants and see if we can't get a ladder truck for the city as well.
Awesome. Hey, let's go ahead and switch it on to the FM. You good, Kurt?
I'm good.
Let's
Just
roll.
Sharing into groups.
I love it. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 10:07. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we have the opportunity. We're going to be talking to Mr. Tink Jackson. We're talking about the city of Lamarck, the proposed budget. What does this mean for you? You as a citizen of Lamarck, you as somebody who lives in Galveston County, Brazoria County, Harris County. What does this mean for you? We're going to be talking taxes, where the money's going to go. What is a proposed budget? Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys this morning?
Ooh, that's the first time I just put my ears on. That's the first time I heard you have a radio voice.
I actually did this when I was in college.
Really?
I did. I was a weekend DJ at a radio station, so I could pay my way through school.
What was better, the radio station that you worked for or KHEA?
Oh, KHEA by far.
Yes. So we're talking to, can you introduce yourself and what your role is with the city of Lamarck?
My name's Tink Jackson, and I'm the city manager. I've been here for about 3 months.
3 months. So, going into this job, was it you've been a city manager before, right? So you kind of know what it entails, but did you have a good idea like where the city of Lamarck was in, standing with everything?
Prior to coming here, of course, when they offered me the job, for the time they offered me the job until I came here, I was about 6 weeks because I had to finish up where I was at and give them notice. And so I had a chance to work with the interim city manager at the time, the finance director, some of the staff members, and start getting an idea of what was going on, what the needs were, and what we needed to do to move forward.
So I'm looking at this, and one of the things that I noticed towards the end, it's a proposed budget, 2019-2020 City of Lamarck proposed budget recap. I think taxes are going to go up, and for a lot of people, it's a good thing. For a lot of people, maybe it's not a good thing. Why do we need to tax people more?
So So when you look at the actual budget and you look at what's been happening over the last few years, the City of Lamarck budget is kind of unique in when you look at public safety. Most cities, when you look at the public safety budgets, their public safety budgets run somewhere between 35 and 40% of the total general fund. When you look at the City of Lamarck's budget, because of the collective bargaining agreements that were approved by the citizens, the requirements by the citizens, we're actually running at about 55% of the city budget was what it was taking to cover just fire and police protection. So that didn't leave enough to take care of some of the other things like public works, like taking care of parks, some of that. They were actually running very short compared to what other cities would be running in those departments to be able to do the job that they needed to do. So when I started looking at the budget for this year, by charter in the city, I'm responsible for giving the city council a budget that is balanced and that meets the needs of the citizens. Those are the two things I'm responsible for in that budget. So as we started looking at the budget, I look at it top to bottom all the way across. But when you start looking at the revenues for the city, sales tax continues to grow. That's a good thing. We see about a 5% increase in sales tax every year. Of course, there's a little caveat with the sales tax for the next few years because we have the I-45 expansion about to start. We don't know how that's going to affect our businesses. Upstream of us, Webster up in those areas, they saw a slight decrease in sales taxes because of the inability of vehicles to get off the road and get to those businesses.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a worry about that. But when you start looking at some of the other things, funding public works, funding some of these other things, you really only have a couple of mechanisms to do it. That's sales tax, property tax, and your utility rates. Start looking at sales tax in the city of, or you look at property tax in the city of Lamarck. Property taxes haven't been increased in the last 14 years, which is very abnormal compared to surrounding cities or surrounding areas. As a matter of fact, in the last 14 years, property taxes have actually gone down twice because of the increased sales tax. In the state of Texas, cities get about 1.5% to 2%, depending on how the sales tax works. The first 1 cent of sales tax that every city receives can be used for any purpose. The second portion that they get is a 0.5 cent, and if the city's elected to take that 0.5 cent on the sales tax, that sales tax has to have a direct impact on property taxes. So if the cities are collecting that sales tax, every time that sales tax goes up or the amount you collect in sales tax goes up, property taxes then are required to go down by law.
Wow.
That's why you look to develop your city, to bring in new businesses, whatever, because the more of that you can do, it's relief on the existing taxpayers on their property taxes.
Okay, so me and Curt were looking this over, and one thing he brought to my attention says there may be like a $2 a fee or some kind of tax for the parks. There's a lot of great parks here in Lamarck. Can you explain what's going on with that?
So when we looked at the whole at the budget as a whole, we actually looked at the revenue side to get to the point where we could do things like buy the fire trucks, like be able to rehab we have a requirement that was placed on the city by TCEQ in 2016 to rehab the Gulf Greyhound storage tank, the water storage tank. You have a requirement to keep them painted, to keep them up to certain condition. That's been sitting here for 3 years, and the city hasn't taken care of that. We have a requirement from from TCEQ also for an expansion at the wastewater treatment plant. You're allowed to be up to about 75% maximum capacity. Once you get to that 75% point and you are over 75% of your maximum capacity for 3 months, they require you to start planning an expansion. When you hit 90%, 3 consecutive months, you're supposed to already be in construction, and we've already been past that 90% standpoint. That's an $18 million expansion to the wastewater treatment plant. So there's a lot of these things that over the last few years have just kind of been deferred and put down the road. And so when I took the budget to the council, it's like, okay, here's all the things we need to do to make our city better. We've got to redo the wastewater treatment plant, get the rehab done to the current one, and get the expansion done. We need to buy fire trucks. We need to do some of these things. And then the other thing we're looking at, if we to get our city fully grown and to get us to the point where we have all the stuff that everybody wants here, one of the key things that everybody looks at when a business is looking at coming to your city, they're going to look at your schools and they're going to look at how your city looks. Parks and amenities in parks is a huge thing when businesses are looking at relocating here. We have such a tremendous opportunity with our parks here because we have some big, beautiful parks, and there's a lot of potential at those parks. We need to develop those parks. Developing them adds value to everybody's existing properties because now when those properties become more desirable because there's more amenities in parks, now your property values start to go up. It gives our kids something to do to keep them out of trouble. There's so many different positive things that come from development of your parks. That was one of the focuses, one of the big things I looked at when I first came here was where are we going to come up with the revenues that we need to do this. So one of the things I proposed to council was a $2 per month park user fee. That way it's assessed to everybody equally. It's collected. That allows the city to bond approximately $2 million every 15 years. So that we can start adding some amenities to those parks. We're talking about putting splash pads in parks. We're talking about building parks out and making these parks, having nice sports fields, having nice everything, so that our community has a nice place to go, so our kids have a nice place to go. And it's also something that'll draw people from other cities to come in here and go eat at our restaurants and go do things here, because we'll have amenities that they don't have.
So that's flat, straight across the board. You have a $50,000 house. You have a $150,000 house. Everybody is resident of Lamarck. $2 a month.
$2 a month. If you have a utility account, so if you have water, or you have water and sewer, or you have garbage, so you may have a water sewer account, not have garbage, you'll get charged $2. You may have garbage and not have water and sewer, you'll get charged $2. If you have a utility account, it'll be across the board.
Okay, and then I was looking on the rest of this budget. It looks like there was a graph that showed, like, if you live in a $100,000 house, that's what this means. If it's a $200,000, if it's a $300,000, do you know which portion I'm talking
Absolutely.
about? What does that mean?
Well, so when we first started talking about the increase in the property tax, of course, the first thing people hear, more taxes is going to destroy me. It's going to whatever. And so we tried to put it into perspective for everybody. What does this really mean? What are we doing? So there's a couple of things with the property tax. First, the legislature this year in Senate Bill 2 passed the provisions that really change the city's abilities to respond to major issues in their town. And what I mean by that, prior to Senate Bill 2 this year, if a city had something big happen and they needed to go up on their property taxes to deal with it, i.e. an expansion at the wastewater treatment plant, something like that was a big ticket item, a city could increase property taxes up to basically 8%. Without requirement for an election or anything. If you went above 8%, then it was subject to a recall election, which meant the citizens would have to petition and come in and do a recall election. But you could go up that 8% to meet inflationary costs, to meet a big ticket item, whatever. The legislature basically this year changed that whole process, and they've reduced that 8% cap down to about 3.5%. So if you're in a city that's less than 50 cents, which we were below 50 cents in the future, you'd only been able to go up about 2 cents, which really only generates about $150,000 a year here. It's not enough to fix anything. So I think what you're going to see across the board in cities this year is that most of the cities are going to have to try to do the 8% just to make sure that if something happens the next year or the year after, that they're going to be able to meet the needs. Cities like Lamarck, who haven't had a tax increase in 14 years, you didn't really have any choice. So that's what I proposed to them. But 8% sounds like a lot, and everybody goes, well, wait a minute. But then when we talked to the council in the workshops, what I wanted to try to impress upon them was like, okay, let's put it into perspective. So the 8%, or the increase that's been proposed, it's not actually 8%, it's below. But the increase that's been proposed, if you own a house that's a $100,000 house, it's $5 a month. That's the difference. It's not even a Big Mac value meal. And it's proportional, so it's less than $5 a month. If you have a $200,000 house, it's $10 a month. The average home in the city of Lamarck is less than $100,000. It's somewhere around $75,000. So you're looking at probably somewhere the average cost being about $4 a month on those increased taxes to be able to get all these other things done, to be able to get the fire trucks bought, to be able to get started on the wastewater treatment plant expansion, to be able to buy the equipment that we need at the Public Works Department to get some of the projects done to help keep our drainage ditches cleaner. It pays for drainage projects. It pays for rehab at a majority of our lift stations, which we're spending all of our time patching stuff rather than actually improving stuff, because the system in town is so old. Every time you fix one thing, it just causes something else. It's like a 25, 30-year-old car. Every time you add one new something to it, it causes 4 other parts to fail. And so we're looking at, there's a laundry list of things that we're going to be able to do with the proposals that we put in the budget to fix everything, to make everything better, hopefully to get us to the point where we're not Band-Aiding all the time and we're actually doing things to improve the city. And that basically is for less than a Happy Meal a month.
You're listening to 99.5 FM KHEA Radio. We broadcast live from the city of Lamarck at 601 Delaney Road, Abundant Life Christian Center. This question comes from Tim. Tim, thank you for listening. He says, how are these new neighborhoods like Delaney Cove, which is just right over here in our backyard, going to affect the budget for next year?
Going to affect the budget? Well, affect the budget. The homes in Delaney Cove are a little bit higher value, so actually they provide a strong tax base for the budget, which is very helpful. All this new construction that we get, the new homes going in, that's very helpful to the budget because that increases our tax base here. and it takes that land from ag land, which is a very low value, to residential. That helps a bunch. As far as costs go in those, most of the stuff in Delaney Cove, or a lot of the stuff in Delaney Cove, since that's the one that came in, is still under warranty through the developers. Once they complete that stuff, they turn it over to the city, but we still have warranty on that. We actually had a lift station at Delaney Cove that we recently had some issues with, and the developers actually fixing that. The taxpayers aren't having to pay to fix that yet because it's all new. There's not that many repairs required in there, so it doesn't have a huge impact. But it does. We still have to, we still have right of ways that we have to maintain. We still have to provide parks for them. We still have to provide library for them. If we have a water leak that happens out there, if we have a sewer leak or something like that, we still have to go out there and fix it. So they still have an impact on the budget, just like everybody else.
Nice.
So I see this one graphic. What do we get for $10 a month? Is that like a combo of the stuff added together, like the parks fee? And
that is correct. So we have the increase, the proposed tax increase in there. The other thing that we had to look at was our utility system. We're talking about all the water line breaks, sewer line breaks, all that stuff. Your utility system is supposed to be self-sufficient. So your utility rates are supposed to cover the cost of running your system plus repairs and maintenance. And that's been part of the problem that we had here, was the utility rates weren't covering all that. Mm-hmm. That's why we've been Band-Aiding instead of repairing or replacing or fixing. So we also review the utility rates. Now, utility rates haven't been changed in the city of Lamarck since 2008. Now, you think about that. If you were producing a product, if you had a business and you were producing a product and you hadn't gone up in your price from 2008, what would happen to your business?
It would not be successful.
It would not be successful. That's absolutely correct. So one of the issues so there's a couple of issues with our utility system, or our utility rate system. One, everybody got charged the same rate. So whether you were residential or commercial, it was the same rate. Whether you used, and then there was extra cost for additional uses. I've never seen a city that operated like that. There's always separate residential, commercial, and then there's tiers within that. So if you're a residential person and you don't use very much water, then your base rate stayed very small. If you're a commercial user and you use a whole lot of water, then your rate was higher. So we proposed a new rate system as part of the budget this year as well that separates it and creates tiers within it. Now, the average person, the average resident whose home just has an average connection and they don't use a lot of water, it's a difference of about $2.50 a month on their bill.
Now, these are all – it's important to remember that these are all proposals that you guys are proposing to the city council. What's the process once we kind of go through this to I guess make this happen, or what's the next steps? You're going to be presenting this to the city, and then there's a process before it goes in. And I think that's important to remember to the people who are tuning in, that this isn't happening yet. These are just what the city would like to see.
So the process starts with the budget workshops, which we held 2 or 3 weeks ago, the 3 days that we were there all day long. They were broadcast. That was open to the public. That's where we start. That's where we present the proposed budget to the council. They look at it. They listen to, why are we doing this? Why are you proposing this? Why are you proposing that? How are you meeting this need? How are you meeting that need? And in that process, if we convince them that, this is what we really need to do, this is how we need to do it, then they adopt a proposed budget. And that's a starting process. And they have adopted the proposed budget. Mm-hmm. Now we have a couple of public hearings on the tax rate that are required by law, and then we'll have a final hearing on the budget, which are also open to the public. Of course, they can talk to their council members or mayor anytime they want to. That's what they're there for. But in the meantime, they can come in and talk to us, and we can answer questions. Doing this today, there'll be some stuff in the newspaper. I'm actually going to have one public workshop at City Hall, probably about the first week in September, and I won't even have the council mayor there. This will just be for me and the staff to explain to the citizens why this is the budget we proposed and why it's necessary and why this is the only way we can get where we need to go. Because the reality is, it's our responsibility to give that to council. Council has to make the final decision, but council doesn't formulate the budget. We formulate the budget. And then they have to trust our recommendations and then act on those recommendations. So we'll have that workshop. Anybody can come in. We'll go through the slide set. That's what the slide set was developed for, was for that workshop. So we can sit down with them and try to help them understand why we're proposing what we're proposing.
So we touched a little bit on sales tax earlier. The future, the I-45 expansion, all of the construction is taking place, if I understand correctly, as soon as next year, if it's not this year, depending on their scheduling. So what's happening with the sales tax? Is there going to be any hike there?
Well, so again, we're a little bit hesitant that as the project is happening through, as the expansion project is going through, that we'll see a reduction. That's what the city's up 45 from us towards Houston. They've noticed a slight reduction while it was going on because you have off ramps closed, and that construction makes it hard to get to the businesses. Now, once we get through that, theoretically we should see major expansion. But there was another issue that was addressed in the budget that has to be dealt with before we're really going to see that expansion also, and that's our water supply. The city of La Marque gets its water from the Gulf Coast Water Authority, but in the last 14 months, we've gone over our allocation 3 times. And so we really don't have the water supply that we need for continued growth, for new subdivisions, for new businesses, for anything, because we're already running up against our limit because of some new rules that were put in on those allocations from the Missouri River. In the past, during drought conditions, if we went over our allocation, we were charged more, but we were allowed to go over. Because of the new restrictions, we're not going to be allowed to go over. So there's a major neck in the funnel right there with our water supply. So one of the proposals in the budget, the Gulf Coast Water Authority has actually made, we get about 3.5 million gallons a day is our allocation. There was a 7 million, they just did a re-rate of one of their plants. There was 7 million gallons a day additional water made available to all the entities throughout the Gulf Coast Water Authority system. So a net total of 7 million gallons a day. We went to Gulf Coast. We've already asked them for an increase in our allocation of at least 1 million gallons a day out of that 7 million that they have. Because we're the only city that's going over, I think that's going to help us in getting a larger chunk of that 7 million gallons a day. After that allocation is made, there's no more additional water available for 7 years. And in 7 years, there'll be one more allocation made available. And then after that, there's potential that there will never be any additional allocations made out of that. So to get in line for the 7 million gallons a day down the road, we have to purchase options to stay in line for that. So that's going to cost the city a little bit to just be in line waiting for the opportunity to get some more of that. So what we've done is we've looked at the final development of all the land that we have in the city, what's the maximum water use that we would need at that time, and we're trying to get that amount reserved through Gulf Coast to make sure we always have enough to make it.
So wait, when I shower and use 1.2 million gallons of water when I'm showering, it really limits the city?
Well, 3.5 million gallons a day.
So I take up, man, I'm like half of the city when I shower. You got to watch out, man. I sit around for like an hour in the shower sometimes just showering.
Just forget you're there, probably.
Just forget.
So, hey, there's a portion in here on one of these slides where it talks about reserves, and it's talking about like a reserve of money that the city builds up. What's going on with that?
So the city does have a reserve. By ordinance, the city is required to have at least 90 days of operating expenses in reserve. Of course, because of the threat we have from tropical storms, hurricanes here. If a storm was to hit, businesses are shut down. You're not taking in sales tax. You have to have enough money put away that you can be able to operate for a while. So what we did in the budget this year. So if you look back at what happened during Harvey. The 90-day reserve was sufficient, but there was no money set aside also for expenses during that time. Mm-hmm. Total expenses from Harvey were a little over $1 million. So what we've proposed in this budget is the 90-day requirement under the ordinance plus $1 million reserve, what we call storm reserve, which would be the money to start the cleanup, to start doing all that stuff, to make sure that we can get our city open back up and back to work and everybody going again as quickly as we can.
Okay, so
and then if you'll notice at the end of 2018, we just received the audit from 2018, so we were above that number. So what we told council and all this was, a lot of this stuff that we needed to do, or the purchase of fire trucks, for example, a lot of stuff we needed to do, that reserve money, the difference between the 90 days and what we actually had could be used to fund part of that too. So I think that's an important part of this budget, is to make everybody understand we're pulling the reserves down to what we're required to keep plus the storm reserve, and using that to fund a lot of this stuff that needs to be done. So that stuff's not requiring us to actually charge more on utilities or more on anything else to make sure we get the equipment that we need.
So if I understand correctly, and I'm looking at this graph again, so you have a $100,000 home, it may be a $5 a month increase in taxes. You own a $300,000 home, it's a $15 a month increase, and that's where we kind of got to, on average, maybe $10 a month in taxes if you're somewhere in the middle. But I think the average home in La Marque, if I read this correctly, is about $75,000. So you may be even under.
That'd be about $4 a month, about $370 something, I think is what it works out.
And so for $10 a month, an increase in taxes, can you go through what all does that mean? What are we going to get as a city?
So when you put it all together, when you look at the $10 a month, which is what we have in here, and you start looking at that, where that comes from. So that would be the proposed property tax increase. That would be the $2 a month park user fee, and then that would be the increase in the utility rates. All of it put together works out to about $10 a month. Remembering, anybody over 65 doesn't pay the property tax part, so there's some things in there. Before that, we're going to end up getting 2 new fire trucks. We're going to be able to get the rehab done on the Gulf Greyhound water tower,
Which has to be done
which
anyways.
was supposed to be done in 2016. And if we don't get it done at some point, TCEQ will tell us we can't use that anymore, and that would cause a major problem. We'll get the wastewater treatment plant expansion design completed, and that'll give us the money to start to go forward with the bond to get the first step of that done. One of the other things we did on the wastewater treatment plant, the total project was about $18 million. We broke that down into phases so we could do it over time, so it wouldn't cost as much up front. We're actually going to do a phase 1 to that project, which would meet our current needs and our future needs for probably about 5 to 10 years. And then phase 2 would come in after that at the point that we needed to do it. Our Gulf Coast Water Authority needs that would get us the additional water that we need right now, plus additional water in the future. It would be the rehab of the wastewater treatment plant headworks. That's where all the sewer lines come together at one place, and that's what gets it into the wastewater treatment plant. It's 30 years old. It needs some work done to it, so that would be a complete rehab of it. A rehab of our water intake from Gulf Coast Water Authority, which we have to send employees out there every 2 hours right now to monitor that to make sure that it's working correctly. Renovation of city facilities. One of the other things that we're also looking at is our police department. If you've been in the police department, we got desks on top of desks. We have people on top of people in there. That building is an old building. They need some additional space and some additional things. So we found an existing building in town that we're trying to get donated to the city. That would include the renovation of that so that we could actually get a PD that's functional, that gives them everything that they need, but doesn't cost $7 million. Instead, it may cost $1 million or $1.5 million just to renovate the existing building. So we're trying to work inside of that and get to that as well. It provides a lot of new equipment for our public works department to be able to help them with trimming trees, keeping ditches clean, doing all that stuff. It also provides 15 additional employees so that we can provide better customer service. The majority of those new employees going into the public works department. So we have help keeping ditches clean, making sure that we're keeping our drainages up to date. It completes 2 drainage improvement projects, along with the third one that we're working on right now. That's a grant program through the GLO. That's about a $3 million project, and we're submitting our grant application on that this week. It starts the process of renovating our parks and putting new amenities into our parks so we can get our parks up to very nice standards. It includes the I-45 expansion, beautification, and branding project. As the I-45 comes through, we have an opportunity to basically make on our bridges. I know you go through cities and you see where the names are on the bridges. Excuse me. And there's different things that identify your community. It gives us a chance to do some of that and get that project done. And there's a whole lot more that goes along with it too. So
Yeah. Well, there's a couple comments, and you touched on those, but people were saying, hey, what about these drainage issues? And they're listing streets, and then someone saying, hey, the ditch is here. And if you were catching some of that, it mentions right here on this that, the drainage issues that, employees and then equipment to be able to do that stuff. So, I mean, you can only do so much with what you got, where you need to upgrade your equipment or get a new truck whenever you have a fire truck that's 30 years old. It needs to be addressed.
It needs to be addressed. We've done a lot this year with hiring of temporary employees, hiring of contractors. We did a lot of different things in the budget where we took out contractual things and put employees in, so we actually have a full-time body in there instead of a contractor showing up and doing stuff for us having to monitor a contractor. We'd actually have an employee doing those things. So yeah, we're trying to get to the point where all that stuff can be monitored, can be kept clean. The drainage issues are a problem. We found that out during Harvey. Again, drainage system's 30 or 40 years old too, and those pipes under the ground, things shift, things settle, things work different. And we've spent a lot of time this year assessing that, trying to figure out where our biggest issues are. I'm sure some of those people on there are from the Marion Melody area. I mean, that area is horrible.
That's exactly what it is.
The GLO project we're doing, that's for Marion Melody. That's about a $3 million project that'll be done, or $1.5 million project that'll be done directly right there to address the drainage issues right there. And then we're also looking at adding a retention pond in downstream above the county pumps so we can get more water out of town quickly. And store it in that pond, and then the pumps could catch up with it when they get a chance to catch up with it. So,
Tink, I do want to bring up. Is it okay to do you like being? Is saying Tink okay?
Mr. Tink.
Yeah, that's the only name I answer to.
Put some respect on it. Come on.
Okay, it's just I look at you as Mr. Jackson sometimes, and so it's weird when I say Tink on accident. But I like the word. I like the name.
That's the only name I answer to.
Awesome. So this came from a comment. I think it was from Tamara. Tamara said it's been so amazing how many workshops have happened already and how encouraging the city is for citizen participation. You're here 3 months. been here for 3 months, and I've lived in Lamarck. I've been in Lamarck, for 3 years. But Gardy's been here since he was little, and you hear these stories about what the city, used to be and what it is today, and how it's been kind of awesome to see in the last, I don't know, year or so, the city kind of mind shifting a little bit about what people think of the city. Participation is up. I was at the city council meeting the other day, and I get the Citizens Police Academy was being honored for it. But every time that I go in, there's more people at the city of Lamarck than when I went to a meeting at the city of Dickinson. And I think that's a good positive change for people to see the city taking care of its citizens.
Well, and I think, there's a couple of things that go with that. One of the things that I did notice here as soon as I got here, the city of Lamarck has a lot of boards and commissions, more than most cities probably do, and they're very active. There's people that show up. There's actually people that show up to watch those meetings as well. And I think that's a very good indication of the level of commitment that the citizens in the city have to making the city better. So that's phenomenal and great to see that. Our council meetings, and we changed the format. You saw the new format that we had this time. We've changed the format. I had a retreat with the council, the mayor, to talk about establishing some vision and goals for where they want to go and what they want to do. And one of the things that came out of that was a desire to allow for a mechanism to give more input in the meetings without dragging the meetings out till 3 o'clock in the morning. So we went to another format where now from 6 to 7 we have a workshop. And basically the mayor calls a workshop to order and gets it started, and then he turns it over to me, and we sit there and say, okay, here's this item on the agenda. Anybody have any questions they want to ask on it or whatever? Council can ask questions, citizens can ask questions, anybody can ask questions. Then by the time we get to the meeting, all the questions are answered, and they did everything on a consent agenda. We had one of the longest agendas the city's ever seen this last week, and we were done by 6:45. It was amazing how quick that meeting went. And afterwards, the council, mayor, and the citizens were like, man, this is great. Everybody had a chance. If they had a question or a comment or concern, they had a chance to say it. And if they didn't, then we moved past it and we didn't beat a dying horse, and we just got on down the road until we got to the consent agenda. And they passed, I think, 21 items in one motion, and we were done. So it was amazing. But because we have so much citizen participation, I think, that leads to that. But, the reality is, especially in this budget process, that's why I want to do the workshop without the council there, just so the citizens can come in and ask questions, and they don't have to worry about there being anything political, towards the council or anything. It's like, let's come in, let's have a hard talk conversation about why we got to do this.
I will say this, Mr. Jackson Tink, it's still going to take me there.
Jackson, Tink.
Yeah, Jackson, Tink. What other city in the county has a radio station?
If they did, it wouldn't be as good as this one.
Right. Well, we're the only one. We're the only one. Lamarck is home to Galveston County's only FM radio station.
One thing that I've noticed whenever there is something that's brought up, either shared on I-45 Now, a feature, or, we put it out, or the city of Lamarck put something out, that you will get on the comments and directly answer those questions. And that's different from some of the other, cities and places, because not that they're shying away, but you're like, hey, you have a question? Yeah, I'll show up and answer. I'll come on KHEA, ask some questions.
That's my job.
Yeah,
it's my job to get the information out to the citizens. The more information we get out, the more transparent we are with everything, the easier everything works. That was one of the big things that I talked about with the council. That was one of the things council wanted. When I interviewed with them, we talked about transparency. We talked about getting information out to the public. That was very important to them. And I will. If I see something on there, the fire truck one, I think being a prime example, there was a comment on there about the fire truck, and it took 38 minutes to respond or something. It's like, no, I've seen the sheets. It didn't take 38 minutes to respond. Here's the reality. The fire truck that's there. Now, there is a show, a show fire truck. Well, yeah, we do have a show fire. We have the very first fire truck that Lamarck ever owned. It's a 1940-something fire truck, and it does sit in that station. No, we're not going to fight fires with a 1940 fire truck, but it is a show truck, and so it does sit there, and we use it in parades, and we use it for whatever else, and it's a neat amenity for the city to have, for the citizens to have, for the to be at the fire department. But to get the facts out there about, here's the reality with our fire trucks. We have a 10-year-old fire truck, a 28-year-old fire truck. One sits at this station, one sits at this station. Based on budget, this is how many drivers we have, and so we got out and gave them the answers. And then when we sat down with council, it's like, okay, this is what we need to do to get better. We need new fire trucks. We need to do, and so council was like, well, absolutely. If that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
So let's say this is somebody's first opportunity to learn about a budget the city of Lamarck has, a proposed budget, and they want to get involved. Maybe they want to get their voice heard for whatever reason. How do they do that? How can they get their hands on a copy of this PowerPoint or the whole budget, and how can they go and voice any concerns or opinions they have?
So the budget obviously is on our website. So anybody can get on the website and look at it. The proposed budget's on there. There's a print copy available at the library. There's a print copy available at City Hall. They can come in, take the print copy, sit down, look at it, whatever. And then if they have questions, that they can ask me questions. They can email questions. That whatever. They can send them through our Facebook page, and we'll get the questions answered. Of course, they can always talk to their mayor, their council members. Our mayor and council here are awesome about responding to citizens and answering their questions. And if the mayor and council aren't sure how to answer it, they forward it to me, and we get those questions answered.
Okay. Is there anything else that we have not touched on whenever it comes to the proposed budget? Anything City of Lamarck that maybe you wanted to bring up today?
Well, I just think it's a change, and obviously we haven't had a tax increase in 14 years. We haven't gone up on utility rates since 2008. That's something that's going to be a big change for some people. Some people are going to be a little bit concerned about that, and we just want to make sure they understand. What we told the council at the end of the retreat was, these are the things that we need to do. These are what we need to do to change taxes, whatever. Here's the list of everything that we're going to make sure we get done. If we get that done, so basically, this is going to, if you adopt a proposed budget and the new tax rate and the new utility rates, this is going to be our contract with the citizens. These are the things they're going to get for that, and so we want to make sure that they understand. We could not raise taxes, we could not increase the utility rates, but the reality is, at some point, everything's going to fall apart, and if it all falls apart, then at that point, it's easier to fix something before it totally breaks than to wait until it's completely broken, then try to put it back together.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and joining. So if you go to the City of Lamarck's website, you can get your hands on a copy of this proposed budget. It looks like for about an average $10 a month. There's a lot of stuff that, some of it necessary, some of it's been, it would be nice to have, but I feel like it's a good idea. And there's a lot of people who are in support, and there's a lot of comments on here as well, just saying, commending you on the job that you've been doing.
I appreciate that. We're gonna make this place great.
All right. So thank you for hanging out. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on Channel 46 and on our Facebook stream. If you're watching and you're asking questions, I promise you, Mr. Tink Jackson, he'll probably go back later and address you directly, whether you like it or not. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anything else comes to you guys, you get any other, a lot of questions or whatever, someone just forward them to me.
Okay, we will.
We'll try, it's pretty busy. I try to answer, what I'll probably do is go back and look at a bunch of the comments and then try to do one big response that hits a bunch of it at once.
Perfect.
But whatever I can do to help, let me
We'll
know.
do. All right. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I was going to throw a little blurb in there about your sister working for me too, but we never got a chance to get to it.
I almost did it. There was an opportunity where I almost brought it up. Yeah. But yeah, she likes it. She's enjoying it. Yeah.
She's a great employee. I like having her there.
Yeah, my sister, she works for the City of Lamarck. So if you live in Lamarck and you are going to go pay some utilities, that's going to be her. Her name's Delicia. Tell her I said hi next time you go.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so go say what's up to my sister. She's worked there for some months now. Not like for a really long time, but yeah, she lives in Lamarck, and we both grew up in Lamarck. My parents live in Lamarck, and my sister and her husband live in Lamarck. I work in Lamarck. Now I live in League City, but I want to live in Lamarck. I want to buy a house over here. We can move down. There's a lot of houses being thrown up. There's like thousands of homes. I heard somebody say the other day that we may have 20,000 people living in Lamarck by like in a little over a year, or like, I don't know, by the end of 2020 or 2021, which is not say. There's Delicia. What's up? That was Mr. Jackson, Tink Jackson here, talking about the proposed budget that is taking place. Right now it's proposed, and City Council has to vote on it. So if you want to talk to your City Council representatives, you want to talk to the mayor of Lamarck, reach out to him, and I'm sure you'll be able to schedule something or show up to some of those City Council meetings and have your voice heard. That's something that I really didn't have much experience with, honestly, before we started checking it out, as KHEA. But it's really interesting how all that happens. And there's so many boards and commissions. If you want to make a difference, if there's something you're passionate about, you can find a board to join. You can find a commission, or maybe there's something that hasn't been created yet, and maybe you're the person who's going to have take the lead and create a new board that's going to focus on something that you're passionate about that you think doesn't have enough spotlight or care, and it just takes you getting involved in the community. And so we love broadcasting from Lamarck. We're actually going to go shoot a couple of Shine on Lamarcks today, and so that's why I'm wearing this jacket. Yeah, so we're going to shoot some Shine on Lamarcks today, and we're actually going to shoot one tomorrow. So in the next 2 days, we're going to shoot 3 Shine on Lamarcks, knock them out. So whenever you see my outfit looking the same, that's why. We've done that before. Well, not with Shine on Lamarck, but we've done that before with other videos, and I always thought it's funny. No one else probably notices but me, but it's like, well, we dropped 2 giveaways. And I'm like, well, let's spread these out in a way so it doesn't look like I only own 1 pair of clothes, and that's it. But y'all don't care. If you're hanging out with us, we're about to switch it up. We're going to be talking about a couple of different things. One thing we're going to mention is our Talk of Taco cook-off. So go to talkoftaco.com because that's how you're going to learn more about how you can get involved October 12th. And then we're going to have, I believe it's Knockerball in studio because we want to have Knockerball at the Talk of Taco cook-off. We're going to share what is it, why is it something you need to check out, and where you can participate in some Knockerball. What's up? How's it going? Knockerball. What's your name?
Aiden. Nice to meet you.
Aiden?
Yes.
I'm Gardy. So we're talking about Knockerball today.
Yes, that's right.
So if somebody's never heard of Knockerball, what is it? I've seen videos, but I'm not even sure if I fully understand it. What is Knockerball?
Knockerball. You get some big round plastic balls, like a hamster ball you're in. Get the idea of like soccer and football. Put that together, and it's a whole new idea of fun that people want to do and want to try out because it's different. It's unique.
It's totally different. I think we have some videos loaded, and before we go back on the FM, we're probably going to take a look. So people are watching now. If you're watching on Facebook or Channel 46, that was a look
Hello, everybody.
at Knockerball. Curt, I believe he ran across Knockerball. I'm not even sure where he was looking, but somewhere in the deep corners of the internet, it's like a rabbit trail, right? Mm-hmm. And Knockerball popped up on his radar, and he was like, dude, we got to get in contact with these guys. Mm-hmm. This looks like it's so much fun. Maybe you aren't like the most athletic person. Is this still for you?
This is for everybody. It's not just for kids. It's for adults. We encourage everyone of all ages to go out there and try it out.
Okay, cool.
It's really good.
I like the logo.
We actually came up with the logo. I mean, Knockerball, we can't change the name of Knockerball because it is an affiliate franchise.
Okay.
But we can add our area, so our region is known for NASA and all, so why not call it Space City?
Okay, cool.
That's us.
So yeah, if you're watching on our social media stream, this is a look of how it happens. So it's literally a plastic ball. You air it up, and then it's almost like right now what I'm watching looks like sumo wrestling, but are they trying to kick something, or you're just like, hey, we're just gonna see who's the last person standing?
The last person standing, go at it with full force and have some fun. You can't get hurt. I mean, you can. It is like a sport, but not likely you'll get hurt, because you're in a bubble ball.
You're in a giant bubble.
I love it.
Curt, what is it about this that made you so drawn towards it?
I think it's because you get to bounce around. It's kind of like being in a bounce house, and you get to kind of jump around and hit each other with it. I think that's what really draws me to that.
Is that a good comparison? Like you're in a bounce house kind of thing?
Yeah, sort of, but you get tired really easily in these things. So we encourage, to play, take some breaks, get hydrated because, outside it's like 106 degrees right now. You sweat really fast out there.
Yeah. So last time me and Curt were in a bounce house, we got tired really quickly. I remember being a kid and I was like bouncing all day.
It's different when you're an adult,
Man, what happened? I was in there for like 2 minutes and I was like, at a minute in, like maybe even 30 seconds, I'm like, dude, we got to get out. Like, what happened? Mm-hmm. Man, that energy level kind of went down. But so what I'm seeing, like the video looks like it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
What is it about Knockerball that drew you in? Like, what's your background?
My background, I went to school, went to college, have a full-time job. Me and my brother were always feel like there's something missing that we should be providing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what it was that we were trying to seek that, to explore potential. So we saw Knockerball as an opportunity, like, hey, it's different. It's unique. I don't see it down here in Houston area. You know, people are not talking about it or trying it out. Why not? The
Yeah.
question is why not? You know, I mean, we just not take the chance, and I mean, people, you know, might want to do this thing. You know, I mean, it could kick off or it could go downhill, and it's like, you know what? Give it a
Take the
shot.
jump.
Take
Yeah.
the jump.
That's cool,
Why
man.
not?
So, how much space do you need? And like what is this perfect for? You know, like let's say you're having an event or a party or you just want to do it on a Saturday. I mean, what kind of event is this for? And, you know, I guess like how much space do you need?
Actually, a space as simple as this room over here in this area. Parking lot, grass. We actually prefer grass or gymnasiums because the balls are plastic. They can pop.
Yeah.
It's full of air, a lot of air. But I mean, it's actually for all surfaces except for like anywhere that has like sharp rocks or glass or water. We don't want you floating away either. You know.
Oh
So,
man, if you got stuck.
It's
On the water, just like-
fundraisers, right? We don't want we don't want that to happen. So we you know, we don't encourage that. But church events, fundraisers, charities, we like to get out there. Youth activities, other kinds of groups. We do like weddings, colleges, schools, just any way we can be involved. Any way we can be involved with the community, it helps.
Awesome. So we got 20 seconds. We're going to go on the FM. We're going to keep it going on our Facebook stream. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to know how you can maybe have Knocker Ball at your next event, you can ask that, and we'll make sure we find out that information. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 10:50 a.m. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. And we've had a great show so far. We've had Ron Carter Leak City in. We had City Manager Tink Jackson for the City of Lamarck in. And now we're having Aiden in from Knocker Ball. What's
That's
up,
right.
Aiden?
That's right. How's it going? Good morning.
Dude, you know, it's going good. And now it's just getting a little bit better. So we've already taken a look on Channel 46 and on our Facebook stream of what exactly Knocker Ball is.
I was going to show our FM audience, but then I was like, wait, our FM audience can't see this.
That's true.
So you have to go to our Facebook page, KHEA Radio, in order to find out a little bit more about this.
Knocker Ball. If you had to combine a couple sports or activities to give a description, if somebody can't see, you know, the video that we're going to show, how do you describe it?
Let's see. Well, you're in a chamber of a giant bubble ball. That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
And then you're facing the other person who's opposing you in the same thing. And y'all just run into each other at full force and see who gets knocked out.
Wow.
That's Knocker Ball. It's the idea of knock them out in the bar.
Yeah. It reminds me of like sumo wrestling meets, you know, like the beach ball. And you're in a giant beach ball and you're going to have fun. And so
Our intern just came up with the best analogy, bumper cars.
Just like that, like bumper cars.
yeah.
Just like that. It's a good way.
I like it. I love it. Good job, Eldridge. Good job. He was like, bumper cars.
I'm going to
bumper
steal
cars.
that. You know, I have your permission.
Yes.
He's okay with it. Yeah, so this is perfect for events. You know, we're having a taco cook-off, right?
Yes, the Talk of Taco Cook-Off is October 12th. It's taking place right here at 601 Delaney Road in Lamarck, Texas. And you guys are going to be one of the
Yeah, we will be there.
one of the activities that you will be, so you can come and try it out.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to do this company?
Well, it's different. It's unique. Everyone can participate. We encourage kids. Encourage people to network a little bit, get to know one another. Just everyone getting together and having fun and just forgetting the past 5 minutes of stress and just have some fun. Relieve that anger or stress or whatever you got going on, and then use it toward the Knocker Ball. Use that energy. Go at it.
So, are there rules and stuff with that?
We do have rules. There are some guidelines we have to follow. You know, we do have to follow the rules of the franchise. You can't get hurt in this sport. It is a sports activity. So there are waivers everyone has to sign that can participate. So, yeah, I mean.
How old or tall do you have to be?
There is a height requirement. Usually it's around 6 or 7 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
So, how tall would you say that'd be?
I don't
That
know.
would be.
Probably like 3.5, 4 feet or so.
Right. So about at least 4 or 5 feet. Right.
Because you have to stick out of the
Yeah,
bubble.
you're in it, all right, and you want to be able to show your legs so that way you can run. You don't want the ball bigger than you,
Your feet sticking out and you just like tiptoe.
but your head doesn't pop out. You're in the chamber, so the only thing that is exposed is your foot.
So you're like wearing an air helmet
That's all it is.
and your whole body is
Your
pretty
whole
much
body is
protected.
surrounded by protection of air and plastic.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in the company? Because I mean, that's got to be really kind of cool to be like, this is what I
We
want to
saw
do.
actually there's a whole bunch of other states and cities doing it. We just didn't see it here in Houston, and I don't know how we stumbled upon them, but like we checked them out, saw like what they provide. They provide a network of information of sources that we need if we need help, and they provide us with the narco balls and equipment and the kinds of games that we can provide to everyone who participates. There's a
Yeah.
variety of games we can create and make it fun and safe.
So are there different games within Knocker Ball? Like if you
Yeah,
bring a ball, you
definitely.
can play different kinds
We
of games.
have this huge giant ball. It's like the size of the knocker ball. You just kind of just bounce that around everywhere. Soccer, play soccer just like that. What else? We have this.
And then you could just run at each other.
We have a
It's like a face-off.
competition of like running each other, the last man standing, or two teams. Or we have this other game called like bowling in our area. So we set up the knocker balls and see how many knocker balls you can knock over. So we just try to create it, make it fun, entertaining, and safe.
So it's games within the sport.
Exactly.
Games within the game, which is just like looks fun if you just put it on.
How many people can participate?
12 to 20. I mean, we have 16 knocker balls, so you get 2 teams of 8. You have 2 teams of 16. 8 people come in, 8 people come out. It's
Maybe 8 people come in, 7 come out.
mhm. I mean, yeah, one might not make it.
Yeah, someone's like, I fell and I can't get up. You know, like, do you need help getting up if you fall down?
Yeah.
Or you just like I imagine you may have to like let go and like push yourself out or
Mhm.
something. Wow. Well, you know, we're excited. So talkooftaco.com, that's how you can learn about our taco event. We're going to be having some knocker ball there October 12th. It's going to be an awesome time to come try it out. Maybe this is perfect for an event that you have. Kurt, what kind of events could you see knocker ball being perfect for? Besides our
Birthday
taco
party.
event? Birthday party.
Yeah. Do you do birthday parties?
Yes, we actually have one reserved actually in Louisiana. We're going to go out of state this Saturday for. Someone actually heard about us way out there, and they rented us out for 3 hours. So we're going to take a road trip to go out there in Louisiana, DeQuincy, Louisiana, that is.
Cool.
Is knuckleball like a professional sport, or do you want it to be a professional sport?
No, we don't want it to be a professional sport. We just want it to be fun. You know, we don't want to take that away from everyone because then it discourages the people like, well, I'm not fit, or you know, I can't run, or I'm afraid of the other person because they're bigger than me. No, none of that. Everyone's has an equal fair share to participate. You're in it. You're protected. You're in a ball, of air that's surrounding your body. You know,
That's awesome.
the worst thing you can do is just you fly like 5 feet in the air and then bounce back.
I think that's part
it.
of the fun of it, though.
A little bit of the fun of it. Are you from the area? Can you talk a little bit about why Space City?
So Houston is where I'm from. My brother's also from Houston. Houston's known for NASA Space Center. We call it Space City for that reason. You know, home of the rockets. There's a rocket. That's how we came out with Houston, Knockerball Space City.
I love it. Cool. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, they want to find out more information, maybe find out how they can bring Knockerball to their party event, how can they get a hold of you?
They can check us out on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Google. Just look up Knockerball Space City. We're the only one that will pop up. Probably the first one that will pop up. And then
You can do it by the hour or for an event all day.
yeah, we rent by the hour, or we do events. Everything that you want to know is on that information that you look for on the Google website of Knockerball Space City. You can find us out there. Our contact info, how many knockerballs we provide, the value of service we bring, all that is provided in the details.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
Actually, just can't wait to be part of the Taco event. I mean, we're excited to be out there, and we're excited for everyone to listen in and tune in to hear our name out because, you know, we do want a lot of people to hear about us. We are brand new, so we're about 2.5 months going into this area. So we are trying to create some exposure. Not everyone knows about us.
Yeah. So now you know. If you didn't know, Now you know, as our good friend Mr. Alan Hutchins always says.
Hey, they're having a cook-off team for that event, so they might be the favorites, I guess, at this point. A&A Machine and Fabrication, they're getting ready. I saw the other day we were over there at A&A Machine and Fabrication in Lamarck, Texas, and they were practicing. They were already practicing getting ready for this event. So we're super excited about the Talk of Taco Cook-Off. It is October 12th. All you have to do is visit talkoftaco.com. Get registered. Get your cook-off teams ready to go. Anybody can enter to win. You do not have to be a cook-off team only. You can enter. We're having conversations today about some power. There is cash prizes that are going to be offered. This is an opportunity for you to showcase your taco.
Yes, so it's 10:59. This has been Kickstart. Thank you, Aiden, for hanging out with us today.
Thank y'all.
So check out Knockerball Space City. Just Google search that. You can learn more, find out how you can get involved, or just come to our Talk of Taco cook-off. It's happening October 12th, starting at 9 a.m. Go to talkoftaco.com to learn more how you can get involved. This has been Kickstart KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Coming up next, we have 10th Avenue North. All right, guys. We love you. Thank you, Facebook. And we